All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome, everybody, to the PWCC July Premier Auction Extended Bidding and Auction Ending Watch Party. This is the second one that we have done. We have Adam, the Real 27 guy, joining. Adam, how are you doing this evening?
I'm awesome. I've been looking forward to this day for the last couple of weeks, so I'm glad it's finally here.
It's here, man. And we've got 66 lots on the slate for this evening for the Premier Auction, and it's manageable. Last time we did this was for the May Premier. A few more auctions, about 3 times the amount, basically, give or take. And there was a lot to cover. This is going to be a little bit more relaxing, yet there will be lots of action. 66 lots. It's very important, everybody. Check out the ticker. If you have not yet bid on an auction, you have until 7 p.m. Pacific. That is about 30 minutes from now to get your first bid in. That will then qualify you for extended bidding. And also want to mention that they have changed the extended bidding format. So I'm going to put that on the ticker right now. Adam, why don't you explain how this is going to work tonight?
Well, I think the most important thing is the thing that you've already mentioned, which is that if you want to bid on any of the items that are up tonight, you have to do it really in the next, in the next 29 minutes. What we saw last time was people, some of them didn't realize that there was this format, and so they didn't put in their initial bid, and then that hurt them. But I think the other thing that you're talking about is that after we get to this extended bidding, that PWCC has put things in place to make sure it goes a little bit faster this time. At least that's, I think, their goal. And we can, you can talk about the specifics relating to how often bids have to be happening to then continue the auction. But when they end, when the auctions end, they all end together at the same time, and then you can't bid on anything else at that point.
Exactly. So they've basically accelerated, as it says in the ticker right now. They've accelerated the extended bidding timer. So from 7 o'clock when extended bidding begins until 8 o'clock, the timer will be 10 minutes. So every time a bid is placed on any lot, the timer will extend for 10 minutes. Once the first bid is placed after 8 o'clock Pacific, that timer will go to 5 minutes. Meaning, if there is no bid for 5 minutes, the auction ends. All the auctions are done, and we can wrap up our show, maybe debrief a few of the lots, that sort of thing. Once we then get to 8:30 Pacific, it is then accelerated to 2 minutes, meaning if there is no bid placed for any 2-minute period of time on any of the lots, they all close. We expect this to end the auction a little bit earlier than last time, and maybe cause for some more interesting bidding towards the end. The other thing worth mentioning, everybody, is that if you go to the website for the Premier Auction, there it is on the ticker right now, pwccmarketplace.com/Premier Auction. I'm going to show you right now what they've done. So what we saw last time was just like this. You'd have all the lots here and, scroll through them. But if you scroll up, you now can see real-time live updates, what the most recent bids have been, which auctions, which card had the most recent bid. Right here, we can see it's this Luca Prism Gold signature that had the last bid, followed by the Dual Auto, the Jim Brown, the Kaboom. So really cool. And if we'll keep this up here for a second so you can see the next bid come in. Hopefully one will come by while I go and welcome some people we have into the chat. We're going to do that. And then we're going to start talking about the lots themselves. So we want to, Rocco Rosado, you're first tonight. Good evening, my friend. Great to have you. Happy to have you as always. We got Mike Witt. Oh, there's Rocco right there. We got Mike Witt. Good evening, good evening, Mike. Great to have you. Shomi Otani, happy to have you. He says, let's watch the rich get richer. Well, they're trading away a card for cash, right? Global says, good day. Hey, you're absolutely beautiful, Global. No, you are. Jordan Riker, good evening to you. Happy to have you. Thank you for that very nice compliment. Josh Adams, good evening to you. Jordan is letting us know the Suns are up on the Bucks. Yeah, please keep us posted on the basketball game, everybody. Erik, you are always winning. You're always winning, my man, always bidding. Jordan wants to know if we are bidding on any of the auctions. We both got a couple bids in tonight. Lowell, good evening to you. Todd McDonald, Kelly Winters says happy bidding to everybody, and we'll concur, right, Adam? Happy bidding to everybody out there. Good luck if you are bidding. Good luck if you are selling. Adam, let's start talking about some of the lots. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. why don't you kick us off here? We're going to talk about the LeBron James Exquisite RPA at a 99. What do you have to say about this card?
Well, this card is definitely the highlight of this auction. And that's saying something because there's some other cards in here that are, well into the six figures. But this is a card that we only see move a couple of times a year now, if that. And this one's in great shape with a strong patch, with a great autograph. It just looks like an excellent example of the card. Numbered to 99. When earlier last year in BCF, we did the ranking of the all-time most iconic cards. I was surprised that the experts actually labeled this as the second most iconic basketball card of all time, behind the Jordan rookie, obviously. And that's shocking because there's only 99 of them. The combination of rarity and how iconic and important it is in LeBron's place in the history of the basketball and basketball cards is pretty special. It's a card that I've never owned that I've always wished that I did. So, this is the prize of the show tonight.
Yeah, it's quite a spectacular card. And guys, what we're going to do is we are also going to be taking a look at some of the profiles on Card Ladder. I'm just going to find where I put the Card Ladder. Where did it go? Here we go. So here is now Card Ladder doesn't have the SGC version of the card in their database yet, but they do have the BGS 9.5, which is similar to the SGC 9.5. And just for some context, guys, the last time that a BGS 9.5 sold was, it looks like they're telling us last August for $1.1 million. We've seen cards in other grades, copies of this card in other grades, sell for up to 1.3, I believe. So right now, as Adam just showed us, we're at $650,000 on this card, and who knows what this could go to, but it could have the potential to double from here. We will see where it lands. Will be very, very telling for where the market is at on this particular card. Next up, guys, the 61 Fleer Wilt Chamberlain. This is a card that I absolutely love. It comes from what is an iconic set. Really, I believe the first set of basketball cards after the Bill Russell set, the 57 Tops. And it contains what are 4 iconic Hall of Fame rookie cards, being the Elgin Baylor, the Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, the logo, and of course the Wilt Chamberlain. This is a PSA 9. It carries the PWCC Exceptional Eye Appeal rating, sitting at $170,000 right now. I am going to show off. I own this card in a beautiful 7.5. I love this card. I'm interested to see where this 9 ends tonight. And again, for context, let's take a look and see what this card has done in the past. We're just going to have a quick little refresh here.
While that's refreshing, let me just say real quick, Jeremy, this is like one of the most important basketball cards ever made. I mean, it's Chamberlain's only rookie, and to find it in this grade it's not just, it's one of those that trades very rarely, maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah, it's amazing. And look at what the card did. Back in the early half of this century, we're talking under $10,000. And then all of a sudden, it can jump to $30,000 in 2016. It hovers right around there. It has a little pop in 2018. A nice copy must have sold. And then, of course, we see what's happened recently. And the last copy in April, $461,000. This copy that we are watching tonight, currently at 170, does carry the exceptional eye appeal rating. I do expect this card to pop a little bit more, at least before the night is over. Beautiful example. Congratulations to whoever ends up owning it. Let's move on to the next card. Adam, why don't you speak to the PMG Red Michael Jordan, my personal grail?
Yeah, so this card is, when you talk about like 90s rare basketball inserts and parallels, it really starts here with the PMG Red. I think it's definitely for its quantity. There's 90 of them, so it doesn't make it the rarest card, but for its quantity, it's the best card that's out there. There's not another card that's numbered to 90 from the 90s that has this sort of appeal. Obviously, the red matches the jersey, matches the Bulls. And in this case, this particular copy is excellent. An 8, graded by BGS fairly recently. So that's a strong grade on that card. And, it sounds like what I said for the last two, but this isn't a card that trades that often. We'll see this one across all auction houses, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And the only reason we've seen them that many times recently is because of the recent increase in value, right? With the way that the market has boomed, this is a card that has really boomed. And as the green, as we've seen that card, reach close to $1 million, people look at this as and this is a better looking card than the green. It's not as rare.
I agree. I love this card. I saw one at the National in 2019. A gentleman had it. I forget the grade. It might have been a PSA 5, 6, 7. It was in there somewhere. He wanted $100,000. I didn't think it was ridiculous, but it was definitely more than we had seen one go for. Now, of course, if we could only go back in time, I do want to call our attention though to what the last one did, what Card Ladder shows us, that $480,000 back in February. So and before that, it was $15,000 in 2017. So and again, this is just for the BGS 8s. We do have an exact comp. There will be other grades in between. So it doesn't really mean that's, we have seen other cards sell in between is what I'm trying to say there. But this card is at 260 right now. And, it's going to pop, I believe. And congratulations, of course, to whoever ends up with that. Let's scroll up and see what the last couple of bids have been. Seems like we've had a few. The Star 101 Jordan at the far end here was at 21 before. It's up to 22,000. Dwayne Wade has picked up a bid. The Kaboom Mbappe has picked up a bid. The Jordan Exquisite, $50,000. And the hobby box of Panini Basketball Select from 2019, $19,000. All right. Next up, we're going to discuss the PSA 10 Michael Jordan. Really, you know what? We were going to spend some time on this, but there's been so much press. A lot of people have been talking about this card. We know what has happened with it recently. The card has been up and down and all around. This one carries the superior rating, meaning top 5% eye appeal. That is a special copy. There's no doubt about it. And, we've seen this card pop to the $700,000 level back in January. Now we've seen it come down to the 200s. This one's at 360. I mean, we'll see where it lands. The fact that it has the superior eye appeal designation from PWCC, I think will cause it to sell for more than the average PSA 10 would. So we'll see what happens. Let's move along. Let's move along now to Adam, the Topps Chrome Black Refractor out of 500.
Let's just call attention real quick to that timer up in the upper right-hand corner too, Jeremy, 17 minutes and 20 seconds. So, if you're interested in bidding on something, and we don't want to compel anyone to go bid on anything you're not interested in, but if you are, you got 17 minutes to go get that bid in. So please don't get caught up in watching us and then miss that opportunity. The Chrome Black LeBron, I could speak about this for a while. When I think about the Chrome LeBron rookie, the first thing that I think about is the growth that we've seen in the last few years. And honestly, it's a card that's never really made sense to me in terms of like why it's exploded the way that it has. And that's because I'm a rare card collector, and the LeBron Chrome rookie is not a rare card. The LeBron Black, though, I'm old enough to remember when these cards were being opened out of packs like crazy. And I remember in the card shop that I worked at the time, back in 2004, seeing these get opened a ton. The blacks were really one of the chases at that time. Numbered to 500, it was never an easy card to find. It was never, I never saw this card pulled out of a pack. And then to find one that is well-centered, that carries the PSA 10 grade. Obviously, you can see there on the screen, PSA population 1 of 20. It's a special card. If I was going to allocate a portion of my collection to a LeBron rookie or LeBron Chrome rookie, I should say, it would be to the Black Refractor.
Yeah, it's a special card for sure. There's a whole movement going on right now from collecting the commodity type cards over the rare card, and this is, if you have the money, well, $200,000 plus, and of course you don't have to own this in a PSA 10, but if you can, all the power to you. But if this is a card that is in your wheelhouse, it's a great option. If you play at that level, of course, it's a great option to the standard Topps Chrome or the Topps Chrome Refractor. So let's move on. The 79 O-Pee-Chee Wayne Gretzky, more in my wheelhouse, as I'm a bit of a hockey guy. This is the PSA 9. These cards, we've seen that, okay, first of all, I want to say, if you don't know, but I'm sure you do, Wayne Gretzky is the all-time GOAT of hockey players. And this is a very important card. It's that one card that people will want to own whether or not they collect hockey. If you collect GOATs, if you collect all-time greats, if you collect iconic players, legends, people and athletes who really exceed the boundaries of their sport, this is a card that you need to have. Now, you don't necessarily need a PSA 9, but a PSA 9 is a wonderful, wonderful example. And this one's at $65,000. We have seen this card sell for the last several have sold right around $220,000 to $240,000. I believe there might have been one a little bit lower, but keep in mind that about a month or two ago, one of the two PSA 10 copies sold for $3.75 million. So let's actually just take a jump over to Card Ladder and see. Oh, there's the black. We'll go ahead here. So, okay, we have seen actually one sold for $150,000 in June. We had 211 in May, and you can see it's kind of been all over. It's important to keep in mind, especially when using a tool like Card Ladder, that they don't distinguish between strong, average, or weak eye appeals for the grade, where PWCC actually will designate cards that are strong for the grade. So it's important to, when you use a tool like Card Ladder, you got to dig in and look at the picture of the card that is being referenced to understand if the card might have sold for a little bit less than the average because it is not strong for the grade, or maybe even below average for the grade. That said, that may not be the case. It might just be the market as well. So keep that in mind. But again, amazing, amazing card. Let's scroll to the top, see if we've had any more recent bids. And you can see the Mantle was the last one. The Jordan numbers has popped from 90 to 120 in the last, since we've gone live. The Hank Aaron's up to 29,000. And the Luka Gold Auto is the last card to receive a bid at $48,000. 13 minutes, everybody, until extended bidding does kick in. If you want to get in on the action, you have to get your bid in within the next 13 minutes. Adam, I know this is a card that you really like, the Jordan numbers card. Why don't you speak to this bad boy?
Well, you saw me just do that little face when you mentioned that it went to 120. This was the card that I was interested in bidding in this group of cards from PWCC. I have some cash that's sitting in my PWCC account that I've been thinking about using on something, and this would have been the perfect card. But it's I knew it would have had to go a little bit low for me to have a chance, but it's probably out of my range now. This is my favorite card over the 66. The number pieces is my favorite insert set from Exquisite. This is the first year of Exquisite. This is the best player from the set. This is a dream card as far as a patch autograph goes for Michael Jordan. And, that's the card. If you want to, Jeremy, if you have time real quick, can you click on this one and just do the quick 3D view on it? It's just such a beautiful card. I
sure can.
Yeah. It's, number to the jersey number, obviously to 23. It's got that hollow foil around the patch window. It's, that's it. I would like one really nice Jordan autograph patch in my collection. And this would be a prime example, but unfortunately it's just obviously really expensive.
I love how you can just see the foil from the different angles when as the light hits it. Really like this technology. It's a little slow for me right now, probably because we're live streaming at the same time, but this is a beautiful, beautiful card. Okay, let's go back. While we're doing that, I want to say hello to John Baer. John is from Slab Shelf. I'm wearing your shirt tonight, John. It says, just shelf it. Like Nike, just do it. Just shelf it. Good evening to John. Jordan says, it looks like the ratings of the finals game just plummeted now that we are live. Yes, I would expect that, of course. Brian Palmer, good evening to you. Mosaic Mind wants to know, how often does PWCC have auctions? Their premier auction right now is monthly. The next one will go live August the 3rd, Mosaic Mind. Chad, good evening. Great to have you. Frankie, always great to have you. You're one of our favorites, no doubt about it. Richard Turner, good evening. Thank you for joining. And Jose Ruloba, good evening. Wants to know what Adam. Well, Adam just talked about the card that he was hoping to buy. Michael Ham, great to see you as always, my friend. Okay, next up on the discussion, guys, 10.5 minutes left, is the Mega Cracks 2003 Panini Ronaldo rookie card, BGS 9.5, current bid $30,000. I mean, this card, listen, I'm not a soccer guy, but I know this card. It's popping up everywhere. Not that it's available, but it's popping up as a soccer grail. It has for a while. Super important card. And I actually think that we were able to pull this one up on Card Ladder as well. Let's just skip ahead and see. No, I don't think we did. I guess this in this particular grade, they may not have it. But in any event, a wonderful card. And, as far as soccer cards goes, probably on the Mount Rushmore of soccer cards. So good luck to everybody bidding and to the seller as well. Next up, Adam. I mean, the X-Fractor.
There's less than half as many of these as there are of the blacks. To me, it's not, I don't like it as much as I like the black, but it's to a lot of people, it's rare and that's what matters. The other thing that I would call attention to here that's easy to miss is this is the very last one. This is 220 of 220. And to some people, that's a huge deal. So I'm really interested to see what this one does tonight.
Yeah, that's I'm one of these guys where I look at the serial number. I'm not going to pay a huge premium for it, but maybe somewhat of a premium. 220. I like the last. I like the first. I like the jersey number. I think it's really cool. $44,000. We do have some card ladder data on this particular card. Here it is. We're showing $42,000 in December. And another one in December at 40. Looks like we haven't seen a public sale of a BGS 9 since then. So they are expecting this card to sell for about $64,000 based on other comps. And we are sitting at 44. So we'll see how that does and how Card Ladder's predictive tool does. And hey, good luck to the buyer. Good luck to the seller. Amazing card. All right. Next up. Adam, I'm going to let you take these next three. I'll let you whip through them as quickly as you can. Guys, 8 minutes until extended bidding kicks in. Yeah,
guys, stay on that. Don't be late because you're watching us. While the number pieces is my favorite insert set, I think the the set that maybe most people think of when they think of exquisite inserts is the limited logos. The patch on this one's excellent. You're not going to find too many patches that are better than this. Not only do you get 3 colors, but you get lots of separation. It's very even. It's very nice. The autograph's spectacular. It's nice and blue. It's exactly what you want. The grade is strong. I mean, this is as good of an example of that card as you're going to find. There's only 75 of them. It's the first limited logos of Jordan. There's only 1 Jordan limited logos from that year. It's a great card. Let's move on to the Luka. The Luka, if this card wasn't autographed and it was just the gold Luka, it would probably be the second most expensive card in this, across these 66. But because it has the autograph, people view it in a different way, which I think is really interesting, right? It's still gold. It's still numbered to 10. It's still from the original Prism rookie year. It's a huge card. And, when you think about buying it for some, pennies on the dollar compared to what the normal gold Luka does, I can see a collector really saying to themselves, this is a card that I have to have because it's a gold Prism Luka rookie. Like I said, it's some smaller percentage. And then Jeremy wanted to show us.
Sorry, I was just scrolling up so we could get a quick look at the most recent bids, but now I'm back to the Jordan emblems of endorsement for you.
A lot of people would argue that this is the better card than the number pieces, and there's sort of this like back and forth between collectors who have different feelings on this. Like I said, I like the number pieces better, but there are some things that this has going for it that the number pieces doesn't. The number pieces has an autograph that's faced vertically with a card that is or faced horizontally with a card that's faced vertically, and some people don't love that. I personally think it's great. This card's great because you know exactly which vantage point to look at it. There's only 15 of them. You still get the hollow foil around the E right there, and it's a beautiful card. Again, to me, it's second out of those 2 cards, but I'm very interested to see which of these 2 does better. I have no idea what will happen, but I know that there's a lot of people who are watching that.
$130,000 for a Michael Jordan dual auto patch numbered out of 15, and it's even got the PSA DNA 10 authentication and autograph grade, which is very nice. All right, just under 6 minutes left. Let's scroll to the top and see what's been going on in the last few bids. The Charizard BGS 9.5 thick stamp, $38,000. The Jordan has popped to $380,000. The PSA 10 and the Lucas. Couple of Lucas there with recent bids, and then the Jordan PSA 9, I believe. So bids. Oh, and there's another bid on the box of 2000 contenders NFL. So $20,000. All right, let's Adam. Let's finish off this page with the. I'll let you speak to the 2018-19 case of Panini Prism basketball.
This is where a lot of people in the last few years started collecting. It's with the Luka and Trey rookies. 2018 Prism. If we could, like Jeremy already said, if we could have a time machine, we'd go back and just buy as much of that as we possibly can. Just the base rookies in this are notable. There's, I think most of you know this set. You just don't see the unopened cases as much anymore. It'll be really interesting to see what that one does tonight.
All right, guys. Next up, we have a PSA 10 Mario Lemieux O-Pee-Chee rookie from 1985 with the above average certified eye appeal from PWCC. This card, I love this card. I own it, and I pulled out some cards to compare just to have some fun, guys. I have the Topps version in a PSA 10 that I actually purchased from PWCC about 3 or 4 years ago. Love the card. The PSA 10, when I bought the PSA 10 O-Pee-Chee, Topps card, the O-Pee-Chee was selling for about $15,000 or $20,000. It had since, we've seen this card pop to about $80,000, and I believe they've been settling closer to the 40 to 60 level in the last couple of sales. This one is already at $46,000, and I might be wrong. Maybe it's even been to the $50,000 to $60,000 mark. We're at $46,000 right now. I mean, I said earlier that if you collect greats from any sport, the Wayne Gretzky rookie is a must-have. It's a card that I consider to be something that, if you're a serious card collector and you don't just focus on, say, one specific player, but you cross all sports, you need the Wayne Gretzky. The Mario Lemieux is, it's kind of like a 1A and 1B sort of thing. There are other hockey players that I recommend, but Mario Lemieux and this particular card, hugely important in the hobby, and I think it's a beautiful card. I bought a copy of this card raw for 25 cents when it first came out. It's a story I like to tell. And now, if I and everybody watching only knew, right? All right, let's go on. Next up is a 2001 SP Authentic Tiger Woods rookie PSA DNA 10, numbered out of 900. This I would consider to be Tiger Woods, his preeminent rookie card. He has the more common upper deck card, but this being the SP Authentic with the autograph out of 900, it does have a parallel, I believe, out of 100, and maybe it's a gold. Awesome cards. What else needs to be said? He's the GOAT of golf, and if you're serious, this is a card to definitely look at. I've owned one at one point in time. I no longer do, and of course sold it way, way, way too early. So if this happened to be my copy, congratulations to the seller, and I hope the buyer enjoys their new card.
Hey,
let's
Jeremy,
move on. Yes,
Jeremy,
sir.
Let's just jump in real quick and just say, guys, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. I've said it a few times already, but we don't want to be the reason that you don't get your bids in. If there's something that you look at and you say, this is something that I want a chance at, you will not be able to bid on it in extended bidding if you don't bid in the next minute and 56 seconds. So, and
let's go see what the last bids are, guys. So the PSA 9 has had another bid since we looked. There's the old 10. The LeBron Pristine has had a bid, as has the Tom Brady, Bowman Chrome Refractor in the BGS 8.5. All right, Adam, I want to get to the bottom of this screen. Or have we got? No, we have not got there yet. Let's see. Where do we? Oh, here we are. So here we're going to leave out. We got a minute and a half, guys, till extended, as Adam said. I'm sure at this point, if you're planning to bid, you've got your bids in, so you're eligible for extended bidding. We have a SGC 4.5 Mickey Mantle 1952 Topps. I mean, you all know what this card is. You've all seen it before. It's just a beautiful card. I don't know what else needs to be said. Except that I really, really want one, and I never bought one, and I always wished I had. So it's like one of those cards you always wish you bought it. No matter when you're wishing, you always wished you'd bought one, if it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year, or this month. So what an amazing card. 2017 National Treasures Patrick Mahomes rookie patch auto out of 99 in the BGS 8.5. I mean, this card is just an amazing piece that just has exploded in recent years. $70,000 for this. And I don't know how much the grade even matters on a card like this. 8.5. We do, I believe, have a card ladder profile on this one. Here it is. I guess we had a 9. There was no 8.5 available. So you can see the last 9 sold last September for $50,000 in a BGS 9. And this one is at 70 in the 8.5. So obviously that card is moving. Guys, extended bidding is going to start in 2 seconds. And we are now in extended bidding. You must have a bid in. Let's see what happens. We are now in the 10-minute window. It's set to 15, but I'm guessing that they're going to have that cut off at the 5-minute mark. So once this gets down to 5 minutes, oh, there they are. It just updated. Perfect. So 10 minutes. Once this if this ticks down to 0 without a single bid, the auction will be over on all of the lots. Before Adam speaks about this dual auto, let's scroll to the top and let's just sit here for a minute and see. Now that well, not a minute quite, but there you go. Let's see if bids start to come in now that we are in extended bidding. And look at this.
Yeah.
You're coming in. Wilt Chamberlain, Mickey Mantle, the Panini, the Panini Prism basketball, the Mickey Mantle PSA 1.5, which I was really interested in acquiring for myself, but I will not be. The chart, look at this, guys. The Kevin Durant, a lot of the cards we haven't even had a chance to look at yet. Prism basketball, $46,000. So the bids are coming in now that extended bidding has begun. That's really interesting to see. This is the first time, I think, in the history of online auctions where you're able to see live bidding come in like this. And that, I mean, I got to tip my hat to PWCC for updating the website from the last auction, the last Premier auction in May to the current one in July. This is one of the new features. You know, they've also added, and you know, they listened, I think, to what the public was saying, because they've added some filters. You can even view it in list form versus this format. I forget what they call this one, the grid versus the list. You know, just really cool. But this is what is really neat right now, where as bids come in, we're going to see them just by hovering over this window right now. But let's let it keep going. Adam, I'm going to take a second here and say hello to some more people in the chat while we watch the bids roll in. Lots of comments have come in, guys. Really appreciate that. So where do we leave off? We got my buddy, Mr. Davey. Good evening, Dave. Great to see you. Jeffrey Hart, good evening to you. Global says he started collecting in the early 90s as a 10-year-old running to the local in Australia. We call them news agencies with my lunch money to buy Fleer Ultra. That's hilarious, Global. I remember being in Australia in the early 90s myself and buying the first run of Skybox basketball. It's all I could find. Jordan, thanks for the update. We're probably due for another one. That's already about 15 minutes old, but I appreciate that very much, Jordan. Global just bought his most expensive card, which was a Giannis Select RC PSA 10. Very nice. Mosaic says, what is PWC's commission for each sale? I doubt it's more. I do not know the answer to that, as I do not have any cards in this auction and just haven't asked the question. But if anyone from PWCC happens to be watching and wants to let us know, that would be great. Look at that. The Wilt's up to $200,000. Mike Wick says, I hope all the bear market vocalists are watching. Looks like the card market is doing just fine. Yeah, you know, it's one thing. I was looking at the graphs on Card Ladder earlier, and I'm just going to bring one up just to show you what I'm talking about here. So let's find a card that'll really illustrate what I want to show you guys. Well, this one sort of does it, but I don't. Hold on, it doesn't do it as well. This one does it really nicely. This is the Jordan PSA 10. $720,000 up here, everybody. Remember, but look at the curve. It goes up, and if you just flatten it, you ignore this period here, which I've been saying for a couple months. If you take out January, February, and March of 2021, the market's doing really well, and the narrative completely changes. And look, we're still going up in value, still trending upwards as far as, you know, key cards go. So, but I hear what you're saying, Mike Wick. Josh Adams, Sweet Mario rookie, no doubt. We got the card currency in the house. Good evening, card currency. Mosaic Mind says the super high-end, high-grade, and rare vintage cards always do well. Grails are grails, no doubt. One for the task says, what is the thoughts on Tiger injury and hobby value? That's a great question. I was worried at the beginning, but a GOAT is a GOAT, and he's established himself. So, you know, you look at a player, I'm going to use a hockey example, Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr is one of the all-time GOATs in hockey, had his career cut short, but is still recognized and valued in the hobby. I don't think that's going to be any different for Tiger Woods. Good evening, Lapper. Show Me says, I once sold early Tiger UD Auto for $250. Yeah, that's early for sure. Yeah, we're all drooling over the Mantles, Mike Wick, no doubt about it. Pick 4 says, Jordan cards seem like they're really going down. Thomas Newman, look at all them tabs. Yeah, those are all the Card Ladder tabs I had ready to go. Mosaic says Tiger should be solid. Even if he never plays again, he'll only drop if he's involved in some scandal. He's a made man. Yeah, exactly. Frank, good evening to you. Always great to have you. Thomas Newman, thanks for joining. Tons of comments, guys. I appreciate it. We're going to go back to the auction right now. We've had a few more bids come in. The Jordan PSA 10 back over $400,000. It's an important comp for the Jordan market because the last few we saw were in the $200,000 range. So, I think there's a lot of talk about Jordans and LeBrons right now. The Nationals coming up. This is going to be an important comp, I believe, moving forward. Adam, anything you want to jump in with?
No, I mean, I think just real quick on the Tiger, I think what you're saying there is exactly right. Where he is somebody that people aren't buying because of what he might do. People are buying him because of what he has done. And when somebody who's being purchased for what they have done still then goes and does awesome stuff, that's wonderful. But you and me and a lot of people who are in our sort of age range, those people remember golf because of Tiger Woods. And although he's not somebody I collect, I just do basketball. I get why that's such a big deal.
And the bids I agree. The bids keep on rolling in here. There's the limited logos up to $260,000. The Luka Flawless, $25,000. Pretty amazing. Let's keep that up. I'm going to do a few more comments here. We've got Jordan just thinks this is very cool. I agree. COVID card collector. Yes. Sports Cards Live tonight. We're going to have a more typical Sports Cards Live episode starting at midnight Eastern tonight with Peter Pacman, everybody. Peter Pacman. One for the task. Good evening to you. Junk Wax says some nice cards changing hands tonight. No doubt. No doubt about that. Thank you for the update. Jordan, looks like the game is getting close. 55-52 for the Suns. COVID started collecting when the COVID started. Very good. Very good. Does PWCC have a buyer's premium? Yes, I believe they do. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Adam, do you know?
What I know about it is that it's stepped, which is really nice because the higher it goes, and I don't know the exact numbers either. We should have come more prepared for that. I hope that the PWCC guys are hearing this and they can just send that to us really quickly. But yeah, it's stepped so that if it sells for, in the first tier, it's a higher percentage. And honestly, that's the way that it should be. If your card is selling if you're selling a card for $500,000 or, whatever this LeBron exquisite card sells for tonight, it's paying a 20% on that is probably not where it should be. It should be a number lower than that. And so that's what PWCC has done here.
Fair. Let's have a look at this Charizard here. So this is a BGS 9.5. It says thick. I'm not sure how important that is. So let's just look at the normal PSA. And I could be way off on this, but I did pull up a Charizard here somewhere. I think it'll be this one right here, 9.5. So the last copy of this sold for $66,000. This is the first edition holo, not the thick stamp. I think that relates to this little stamp right here, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. But if the last one did about $66,000, these things peaked out at over about $120,000 back in last October. And I do remember that these cards, the Pokemon's peaking back then. This one's at $46,000. We'll see where it ends. I'm going to flip to the next page here. We will still have the live extended bidding bids at the top of the page. Scroll up. Let's see what's happened since we've left there. So there we 300 on the limited logos. Michael Jordan, Adam, 300. Looks like the black refractor LeBron's at 220. The exquisite Jordan 55 and the SGC 9 Lou Alcindor is at 30,000. I pulled out my PSA 7 to show you guys because I think these are super cool cards. I love this card. Looked for one for a long time to find one that really was centered to my liking. And I found one several years ago now. Great card. All right, let's see what's at the top of page 2. We can see that the 10-minute timer keeps on resetting every time a bid comes in. But come 8:30, this is going to reset to 5 minutes. So that's in 20 minutes. This will only extend by 5 minutes. Another Mickey Mantle, SGC 3.5 at $26,000. The Joe Namath, one of my favorite cards. Another one I own that I pulled out. Now, this is a PSA 8. I own a very nice PSA 6 right here. And again, this is a card. I remember being in the National a few years ago, Adam, and there was this one guy. He had like a showcase filled with Namath rookies. I think it was the only card he collected. And but he didn't have one that was like proper for me. And I waited a long time to find the right Namath, and I managed to find one probably in 2015, 16, 17, something like that. All right, and there's another Tiger Woods. This is an SGC 10 with a 10 auto. Really another just great copy of the card at $20,000. And I don't remember, but seems to me like the SGC 10 will with a 10 auto will sell for less, and I know it will obviously sell for less than a PSA 10. Not sure how it would rank against a BGS 9.5 or a BGS 10. Well, BGS 10 for sure lower, but a 9.5, not quite sure. Let's find a basketball card for Adam to talk about. How about the Dwayne Wade, Adam? Why don't you tell us about this card?
Yeah, so where we have the LeBron exquisite RPA that's going to be the, like I said, probably the highest dollar card of this lot. Dwayne Wade's the second best card from that set. I like the Wade and the LeBron because they both have changed their autographs dramatically since the time that these cards were signed. Wade has a very different autograph now than he did then. Back then, it took a lot more time, a lot more detail, so you can understand why he changed it. This card in a 9 is a great grade, fairly recently graded, strong patch. Just a great opportunity to get this card. I think if you look at the card ladder data, you'll see that this card, I don't know if you have it pulled up, but this card sold for an awful lot more than what it's at right now. So it'll be interesting to see what it does.
Yeah, definitely. We got the couple of nice quarterbacks on either ends of the Dwayne Wade, the Tom Brady Bowman Chrome Refractor, which is a tough card, BGS 8.5 at currently at $32,000. A quick story on this card, Adam, not the refractor version, but the regular version. This card was selling for between like $1,300 and $1,600 like clockwork a few years ago. And it's a real easy card to gauge the centering on based on those lines down the sides. And I wanted to find a PSA 10 with perfect centering, and I never found one. I should have just bought whatever copy, because now even that card does like $20,000. So, but I just missed the opportunity to add it to my personal collection in that in a PSA 10 slab.
So I'll just add real quick. The thing that I like about this card, I don't collect football, but Brady, a lot of his big time rookies are in his practice jerseys or in the color that's not as nice. This is a great looking card. Made later in the year in his proper Patriots jersey. It just is a great looking card. And so if you're looking for Brady where he's dressed as you kind of remember him playing with the Pats, that's your card.
Yeah, I agree. Most of his rookies are not pictured with him in the Patriots uniform, so it is a special card. And then we have the Mahomes here, the BGS 9.5 with the 10 auto, currently at $23,000. This is the Camo Prism out of 25, so a very rare Mahomes autograph rookie or rookie parallel. And then we have Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, the Bumblebee card. Now, this card has been on a ride as of 2021, sitting currently in a PSA 10 slab at $23,000. We do have this available to look at here somewhere. There it is. So look at the curve on this, everybody. 13, right around the $1,000 mark, all the way through 2020 to the end of 2020, and then we see it pop from $9,000. Well, here we go. 14 at the end of 2020, up to 45,000 in February, 90,000 later in February, and now look at this graph. There's a special name for graphs like this that some Instagrammers use, and at this point on June 30th, it's back down to $22,000. So the card has gone on a ride. But again, if you omit the first half of this year, which I think is something that a lot of people are going to want to do or wish never happened, you're going to notice that it is still trending upwards, which I think is just a sign that, yes, important cards are still healthy, and that's important for the market to realize. We're at $23,000 right now, and we'll see where this card ends. Back to the Adam, actually, why don't you talk about these two cards before I go back to comments?
Yeah, these two are easy. So the first one, this 1980 Topps box, these were hard to find back when I was a kid. I remember walking into a shop, and the coolest thing in the shop back it was probably 1992, was an unopened box of 1980 Topps. You get the big, everybody knows the big card of this. It's the Bird Irving, or the Bird Magic rookie with Irving on it as well. To find a box like this that has been graded, by BBCE, and has one or two of those cards. Actually, don't know how many of the big card you would get out of that, but has those in there, is pretty special. And then of course the Jordan Nike card is a big deal too. I was trying to figure out what the gold sticker on this means. I know that's significant. But yeah, this is not a lot of people can afford a perfect 86 Fleer rookie, but if you can't afford one of those, maybe a 1985 Nike is a good fit for you.
Yeah, what that gold label is, I believe it's the Mike Baker authenticated gold sticker. He does sort of post grading, secondary grading of the card, basically determining if the card is strong for the grade. And I believe he even has a few tiers of sticker, a gold, a black, and a silver. And it's similar to PWCC's eye appeal rating. And apparently Mike Baker used to work at PSA, so we'll have an eye for cards. I don't know how much the market is, really attributing value to his stickers or not. You see mixed reactions on social media to these stickers, but nonetheless, I've always been someone who believes that a card can be strong for the grade and a premium should be paid if that happens. Or I'm at least willing to pay a premium for a card that is strong for the grade. So if he has a good eye and the market agrees, then you're going to see his cards with his stickers on them sell for more than what the average card in that grade would sell for, I believe. On this 80s Topps box, Adam, even in Canada, I was able to find these packs when I was a kid in 1981, 82. I do remember opening these and tearing them apart and perforating them. But lucky for me, I do own the copy of the big one here in a nice PSA 8 holder. And I certainly think this is one of the most important sports cards of all time. Where else do you find two Hall of Famers that basically represent the sport for the decade? And of course, I understand that MJ did come in and help carry that baton, that torch. Okay. Oh, you can see this is a card I had bid on. This is the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 1.5. I saw this card. It's got creases across the top, but look at the centering on this. I thought, you know what? A 1.5 is about where I'd be. I'm not going to be placing another bid. It's out of my range, but what a great looking card in even a 1.5. And you know what? When it comes to a card like that, for someone who doesn't usually like creases on my card, I would be willing to take one of these with a crease. But I'm out for now. Adam, let's scroll up, see what bids have come in. Then we'll come down and you'll take these next two basketball cards and talk about them. All right?
Sounds good. And while we do that, we should also just see what the ones at the top now are and how they're doing.
Well, so the Mays, the 51 Bowman Mays, $34,000. This is a BGS 10 with a 10 auto. Connor McDavid's at $48,000. We got $34,000 for the dual LeBron Jordan auto. The Mickey Mantle PSA 7 Bowman rookie is at $60,000. And since I even said it, the Connor McDavid has another bid. Oh, this is the BGS 10 with the 10 auto, $50,000. And the Dwayne Wade has gone up. I think last time we looked at this, it was like $24,000, is now at $30,000. All right, let's come back down. Now, Adam, we can go back to the first page and kind of let this thing reload. Or why don't we do these two cards, finish the row, and then we'll go to the first page.
Sounds great. Yeah, there's 3 Kobe Chrome refractors in this auction, which probably is as great of a signifier to how great, the 66 card group is. You don't see a Kobe Chrome refractor rookie very often, but you never see 3 within the same auction. So in this same auction, I believe there's a BGS 9.5, 10, and 9, and this is the 9.5 that we're looking at right now. I'd let Jeremy mention what kind of color it has. I'm not very good at being able to tell that, but what I can tell you is this is mostly thought of as the best Kobe rookie around. We've seen a lot of movement in the last year on this card in terms of prices and in terms of quantity sold, and I think the number that has sold has actually driven the price down and created a little bit of a buying window for people. It's still obviously a lot of money, but it was always a big card. It's a big card today, and a great card.
It really is. Speak to the Luka.
Yeah. So Luka flawless from his rookie year. So you got the patch, the autograph. It's the ruby. The ruby's generally thought of as probably like one of the least desirable. But the great thing about that is it makes it so that it's a more affordable card. Flawless, as most of you know, is like one of the preeminent Panini brands, and to have the autograph and the patch on a rookie year card of Luka is pretty cool. For me, something like this is more appealing than some of his regular rookie cards. There's only 15 of them. It's hard card to find. And the other great thing is that the jersey's game used, whereas like a card like his National Treasures RPA that's worth over $100,000 isn't game used. So, it's nice to have that competitive advantage on this card.
No doubt. Let's see what's going on at the top of the page here, everybody. There was the Dwayne Wade, the unopened case, the Mario Lemieux PSA 10s at $50,000, and another bid on the Patrick Mahomes autographed camo prism, $25,000. All right, I'm going to leave it here, Adam. Go to some comments. Let's see what's going on here. Brian Schulman says the Jordan limited logo price really surprises me. It's a grail card for so many people. Brian Kim says, do you think we'll ever see UFC cards on these high-profile card auctions? If so, who's the card? Great question. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say eventually we probably will. Look, the Dual Auto just got a bid here. The Jordan LeBron is at $38,000. What a great, great card. Junk Wax Investor advises us that there's a 20% buyer's premium, no seller fee. So take all these prices we're seeing, everybody, and add 20%. That is the true price that people are paying for these cards. Mosaic Mind says that rising Jordan tide of PSA 10s lifts all boats of 10s, 9s, and 8s, etc. Time will tell for sure. Show Me says that Tiger can rest a few years and hit the senior tour in 5 to 10, no doubt. Matt Jones, appreciate that. This is the place to be on Saturday nights, everybody. Really appreciate that. Trey Acorn says that he just got his Basketball Card Fanatic issue number 11 in the mail. Great issue. There you go, Adam. There's a plug. Everybody, do keep in mind, Adam is the editor-in-chief of Basketball Card Fanatic magazine. Be sure to check it out. I'm going to change the banner right now on the ticker. I have it ready here as I've had this one on the go for a while. Subscribe to the magazine, now in print, at Basketball Card Fanatic on Instagram. Send him a message, and Adam will hook you up and give you all the information that you need. At halftime, Buck 64, Sun 61. Daniel, great to see you as always, my friend. What is this? That's cool. Says, I was once a Jordan collector through the 90s, never had a rookie, but had many of these inserts that are considered grails now, but they are long gone for peanuts. That is the story of so many people. Do not feel alone. Feel bad because we all do, but don't feel alone. Nice looking card. Says, hey to both you, MJ. Exquisite numbers, pieces, or limited logos, and why? Cheers. Limited logos for me, numbers for Adam. No?
Numbers for me. For sure.
Numbers for you. I'd be all over that limited logos. What a card. But I like the big patch. I like the big patch for sure. JP Card says, great show with two of the best. Thank you so much. Thanks for, hey, happy to do it. Thank you very much for joining. JP, COVID card collector. When are these closing? They will close when extended bidding ends, probably within about an hour and a half from now is my best guess. Michael Ham wants to let everybody know that Brady's Fleer metal card is underrated, very tough to grade. Yeah, I agree. That's that horizontal card, is it not? I think it's an amazing card as well. Thank you so much. Mosaic lets us know that neither team can assert control in the basketball game tonight. Well, that's kind of it. I'm just glad you guys are keeping us apprised of what's going on, and thankfully this isn't like a Game 7 that we're missing. Troy says, also many can afford any of these items unless you have Jeremy's PayPal account. I don't know what you're talking about, Troy. I do not know. Trust me, if my PayPal account could afford these cards, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd be buying these cards. Willie Mays just brought in a bid, everybody. $36,000 on the PSA 7. Willie Mays. There's one that I never bought when I should have. Show Me says that Mike Baker is the longest-serving professional grader and is considered to be the pioneer in the business. So there you go. You know, I do know that his service does get a lot of criticism, but I just don't know that people really understand exactly what it is and where he came from. But in any event, everyone can make their own opinions and have their own assessments of where they want to put their money. T Pocket says the market is clearly being selective on green versus non-greening Topps Chrome refractors. It's basically two different cards and comps at this point, speaking to the fact that Chrome refractors and Topps Chrome cards do show greening over time. Adam, anything you want to jump in on that?
Not specific to that, but I'd say on the Mike Baker thing, my question was actually regarding the gold sticker. Definitely familiar with Mike Baker. We don't need to talk any more about that. But I wanted to also say real quick, this is straight from PWCC's website. It says the hammer price refers to the winning maximum bid, excluding the 20% buyer's premium. And then it says this is important. It says if an item sells for $250,000 or lower, the seller receives 110% of the hammer price. If an item sells for $250,000 to $1 million, the seller receives 112%. And if an item sells for $1 million or higher, the seller receives 115% of the hammer price. That's important because what it's doing is it's teaching you that the price that these cards are going for, sellers are actually getting more than the price that the card sells for. And so, when you think about a traditional 20% fee, as we were talking about earlier, don't think about it like that. Like, actually sit down and do the math. And this is one reason why if I was selling something that was like a high-end card, and I have done this, I would sell it with PWCC. And in this case, the high-end stuff, I would consider using the Premier Auction.
Yeah, they're basically splitting their commission with the seller on the super high-end cards. You did say that, the seller gets more than what the card sells for, but what you meant to say was the seller gets more than what the auction price, the final auction is. The card, I do believe, sells for the auction price plus the 20%, just for clarity. Because, and I know how it is, Adam, when we're live, sometimes we say things and we, you don't, it's hard to think on the spot all the time and be perfect in everything that we say. Joe Perot, my guy, says, if you get a chance to look at the Wilt up close, outstanding color and registration. And that, Joe, and that's exactly why PWCC would have given it one of its eye appeal designations. So makes good sense. Jeff Morris, welcome. Great to see you. Former guest of the show, says Lemieux rookie card has great centering. That's a tough card to find centered perfectly. He is 100% correct. It is really a hard card to find perfectly centered. So when you find one, you're going to get either an eye appeal premium or, you're just going to have a very rare version. MMA cards, good evening to you. So Daniel says the price we are seeing does not include the buyer's premium. That is correct. Facebook user says, listen to the podcast with the founder of StockX. Amazing stuff. Hey, thank you, Facebook user. Wish I had my Facebook open so I could see your name. But yeah, that was one of the most fun episodes I've ever done. With Josh Luber. That was just last week. What a great episode that was. What else we got here? So Mosaic. So the 20% buyer's premium goes to PWCC. The owner gets part of it as well. Greg says, how forgetful we are. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, Greg. Always so nice when people mention that to the benefit of the show. Really, really do appreciate that. All right. Yes, and I see Junk Wax did actually put all those details in right there for everybody. Appreciate that, Junk Wax.
Jeremy, the 86 Jordans at $500,000.
Wow. And now that's $500,000. Okay, let's do what you suggested earlier. Let's go to the first page of the auction and see what the top cards are doing right now.
And the limited logos is at $360.
Wow. It was at $300 last we saw.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's just go through $650. So the LeBron's gone up. I think we were at $550 when we started this show. I believe. I could be wrong. Wilt's at $200. Jordan Pmg Red $260. Here we go, $500. So that's really $600,000 now. So think about that. I mean, that comp is really close to the 720 we saw before. Now it does have the superior eye appeal rating from PWCC, which is top 5% of all the. What that means is of all the PSA 10s that PWCC has seen, they are deeming this one to be in the top 5%, meaning it's one in the top 20 copies they've seen, or 2 of 40, whatever it is, top 5%. Like, you all know how percentages work. One of the top 5% copies they've seen. So it's going to get a premium. And I don't know what those two sold for back in January for $700,000, what they looked like. I don't remember, but were they superior or not? Not tough to say at this point. Well, someone could probably go back and see. Nonetheless, we're at $600,000 on this card. That's the closest we've gotten to that all-time high back in January. So it's nice to see that the high end of the market is definitely healthy. I see that the Wayne Gretzky's up to $70,000. for the PSA 90 Peachy, a relative steal compared to what the last several have gone for. And it would really come down to, is this strong, average, or weak for the grade? And that might be very telling. Here's your numbers card, Adam, still at 120. The numbers Michael Jordan. The emblems is at 130, and the limited logos is at 360, as was previously mentioned. Going to go back. Let's go back, actually, Adam, to the second page. Let's make it a bit of a goal to touch on all the cards that are listed, because we did want to do that. And of course, it's tough to do, and there's so much going on.
We're getting through them, though. I think we're through about half of them right now.
Yeah, we are past the halfway mark. That would take us to the 87 Fleer sticker. PSA 10 is at $26,000. I kind of chuckle because sometimes I can't believe it that some of these cards are like, it's like, why I was buying packs back in these years, like many people were, and I didn't hang on to one of these.
So yeah, let me speak to this one for a second. When you think about when you think about cards being made rare by grades, the later 80s stickers are really great sets to look at, specifically 87 through 89. All three sets are plagued by similar issues: wax issues, centering issues, edges, like printing stuff. All of them have a lot of strange things that happen to them that make them really tough grades. If you get an 87 Michael Jordan sticker out of the pack, it's not going to be gem mint. Like 90-something% of the time, it's not going to be gem mint. So, you can see their little note here, only 24 PSA 10s in existence. This is one of the original Jordan cards. This is from his second season and, is a sticker. And there's only 24 of them. Compare that to like his rookie card, which is sitting there at, what is it, $600,000 now. And there's 300 and something of those in a gem grade. Like, this is a hard card to find, guys. So for those of you who are really into rarity being created by grade, like this is a pretty cool one.
So yeah, it really is. Only 24 in existence. I mean, I was a little bit distracted there, Adam, but I don't know if you said that the PSA 10 Fleer 86 Jordan or the rookie has like a 317 pop. Yeah, and this has 24. Yeah, this is a very, very rare card for the grade for sure. Beside, we have the score preview rookie roll call, Tom Brady autograph, numbered out of 50, rookie year, rookie card, $17,000. That's a rare card. I don't think I've ever seen it before. So there's one that kind of, surprises me to a degree, that it's just, we can always find cards that we haven't seen before. 1996, another Topps Chrome refractor, Kobe Bryant. This is the BGS 10 Pristine, $140,000. Let's head over to Card Ladder and see what they have for data on this card. So this card peaked at $516,000 in February. Now that was the peak of the market. We've seen it, like most things, have come down in value. Well, yeah, most is applicable. $369 in April and $233 in May. But this is another one of those examples where if you take out that time period here, we're still trending upwards. The real key will be what happens to the right of this dot tonight and in the months ahead. That will be very telling. We don't know yet, but still trending upwards overall, year over year, certainly trending down month over month. So Card Ladder has this card with a current value of $233, predicted of $265, and we are at 140 plus premium. So 156, no, 166, 28, 166, 168, 168.
168.
Thanks. A couple of financial guys here, and we're trying to do some simple math. $168,000. So all things said, that card should get some more bids. Let's go see what's going on at the top of the auction here, everybody. The last few bids that have come in. The Mantle has gone from 60 to 65. The LeBron Pristine is at 26. And the Ronaldo, $44,000. We got a Ronaldo. We got a Messi in tonight's auction. Really, these are definitely Mount Rushmore cards as far as the soccer hill goes. See how I said that? The soccer hill? I just came up with that right there, right then and there. Yeah. All right, Adam, why don't you speak to this this case of sealed hobby select basketball with Luka, Trey, and DeAndre Ayton rookie cards?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Ayton. He needs to be mentioned in there now, especially if he's going to go win a championship. Select is rarer than Prism. It might not be as popular, but it's rarer. And so yeah, it's definitely, it's hard thing to find unopened cases from 2018 anymore. And it's good to see it here in this auction.
And this box beside it, this is a single box of Contenders football where you might hit the Tom Brady rookie ticket auto, 12 packs in the box, $20,000. I mean, that's a box that I don't think you open that. I think that is a relic of the time, and it's just always nice to know that the card might be in there, even though it probably isn't. And then next up, the very popular Kaboom series featuring Kylian Mbappe, BGS 10, Pop 1 of 1, $14,000, 2018. I mean, Kabooms have really taken the hobby by storm. And I used to own I think it was a 2013 Tom Brady and a PSA 10, and I sold it just over a year ago. The wrong time. We all have those stories, no doubt about it. All right, next up, a trio of basketball cards. Adam, why don't you speak to this 61 Fleer Classic Kobe Bryant with Michael Jordan out of 61?
Yeah, so this Kobe is my favorite Kobe in the auction. The reason that it says with Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan's in the background of the card. The 1998 Fleer Classic set or Fleer set looks like the 1961 Fleer set. That's the Wilt card that Jeremy was talking about here a few minutes ago. One of the best known all-time basketball sets. And what they did in the late 90s is Fleer did with most of their base sets, is they paralleled it. And so this card, the top part, the yellow or gold Lakers area in there, has like a kind of like a prismatic look to it that makes it look different and very unique compared to the base card. And then if you flip around in the back, you'll see the words Fleer Classic and then number 21 of 61. Jordan and Kobe are connected now, and they'll always be connected. And so, as you look back at cards from Kobe's playing days and see cards where he and Jordan are together, I think that's really cool. It's obviously not cheap. It's an expensive card, but when you think about how rare it is and that it has both of those guys on there, it's a really cool card. And for anyone who wants a rare 1990s Kobe card, that's something that very few people have. This is one of the picks of the auction for sure.
And next to we have the SGC 9 Lou Alcindor rookie, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Great card. We already saw a copy of this card earlier on tonight, just as we have the 1980 Topps rookie of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson with Dr. Julius Erving in the middle. This is in a BGS 9.5 holder, $29,000 right now. I'm going to jump up to the top, everybody. Let's see what's been going on. Looks like the last few bids, LeBron up to 700,000.
There it goes.
From 650 to 7. The Bowman Chrome Refractor Tom Brady's at 36, Ronaldo's at 46,000, and Hank Aaron in a PSA 8 is now at $36,000. I pulled out my Hank Aaron to show everybody tonight. I have a PSA 6 copy. I'm going to actually show you guys this card a little bit closer because I'm really proud of the centering on this PSA 6, especially if you look at the side to side. It's basically perfectly centered. Just a great copy. I picked this up at the National several years ago. Bought it from Card Country, Dr. Jeff. Just a beautiful, spectacular card. He's a dealer, one of the vintage dealers at the National, who is known to really only carry cards that are strong for the grade. And so I bought several off of him over the years, and that's just one of my favorites.
That's Nat's. Yeah, I think that's Nat's favorite card.
Is it? One more thing Nat and I have in common. That and we both love sports cards. All right. Shane DeVoe says, hi, I'm Sports Cards 23. Very nervous at the moment. Good luck to you in the auction, sir. Good luck to you. Anthony George says it's glad to see a good amount of football and hockey in the auction. Yeah, as am I. I think we have a Gretzky, a McDavid, and a Lemieux as far as hockey goes. And there's several football cards in the auction, at least more than half a dozen, but there's several in here. I believe half of the auction is basketball tonight. I believe 33 cards are basketball of the 36. Mosaic Mind, you're welcome for whatever intel you were given. Show Me says, differences of options is human nature. Well said, Show Me. Cannot argue with that. Jeffrey Hart says, Jordan PSA 10 sale at current price definitely makes an important statement. Do you think the sale will carry any momentum for 86 Fleer and basketball market heading into the National? That's a great question, Jeffrey Hart. And, my response to that is that, as I said earlier, it is an important comp. Will it carry momentum? I don't know how to answer that, but I do know for sure that it will be talked about. It will definitely be talked about. MMA advises that the UFC card to chase is the Conor McGregor first auto 2013 Topps Bloodlines. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Gonna just keep on going through some more comments. Logan Ward, good evening. Thanks for joining, my man. Good to see you as always. Mosaic says he wants his PSA 8 Jordan to get solidly back into the 5-figure territory. Yes, of course, of course. Jose says the no steal of the night thus far is the classic 61 Kobe with Michael Jordan. Ryan O'Hara says that Jordan at $500,000. Damn, wonder how quickly things get crazy again now. If you guys remember that the curve went like this when those Jordans sold. I mean, there was already momentum going into January, but at the end of January, those two Jordans sold and the market just went nuts. So is that going to happen again now? Tough to say. New bid in on the Jordan LeBron James SP dual signatures now up to 36,000 with the autographs not even at a 10. The autos are at a 9 and the card itself is a mid-9. One for this task says, how should we be thinking of hammer price versus hammer price plus premium when it comes to comps? I think you have to look at what the buyer has to pay. Comps traditionally include the buyer's premium. One for the task. Adam.
Real quick on that. We had a question earlier, and I might have gotten confused, as Jeremy pointed out. There's really two questions that you have to ask. The questions are, what does the seller get, and what does the buyer pay? Those are really the only two things that matter here. And what the buyer pays is easy to figure out. What the seller gets is a little bit different because there's this variable rate thing that we just covered. And if you just Google search real quick, PWCC Premier Auction seller fees, then you can see how that is tiered. But those are the only two things that matter. When it comes to comps, you want to look, as Jeremy just said, at what actually has to be paid. And on PWCC auctions, that's knowable.
Yeah, well said. Thank you for clarifying. Nice looking cardboard says both the MJ Exquisite cards are stunning. I know what a rookie card means, but personally from design, I appeal auto and patch. I take both of these over the RC. Agree. I think we both agree. And that just goes to rare cards over commodity cards. Some commodity cards like a Jordan rookie, like a Gretzky rookie, these are very important cards, but they're not for everybody. Some people choose rarity, and having the auto and the patch is really a treat. Excuse me, definitely a treat for many, many people. Colin says, Jeremy, do you believe in the PWCC IPL rating scale? I understand the scale. I'm skeptical of how it adds value the minute the auction closes, the rating phase in history. So that's not true, Colin. So I'm going to answer your question. Yes, I wholeheartedly believe in the PWCC IPL rating because I've always, in my whole life as a collector, I've believed that not all cards are the same in the same grade. Now, that's just logic right there. There are not only 10 conditions of a card or 19 with the 0.5s. There is an infinite amount of conditions of a card. So if a card can be strong for the grade, I'd almost turn the question around and say, how can you not understand that? Or not? I'm not saying you don't understand it, Colin, but how can people not understand that? So you say you understand the scale, you're skeptical to how it adds value. Well, when you go to sell that card down the road, the rating doesn't fade into history. They affix a sticker to it that's got a hologram. You get a certificate with it, and you can always advertise it as having that special IPL rating. Or you can just tell your potential audience when you're selling it that, hey, this card is strong for the grade. Just look at it. That's all you really need to do. So the rating does not fade into history. I just think that's inaccurate. And so just maybe have a closer look, Colin, at how what you get when you buy a card that has their IPL rating, because you do get something extra like this certificate. Ken Richardson, one sec. Adam says my Topps Mantle 1.5 has Lloyd written on the bottom of the card. No one should ever be given No one should have ever given Lloyd a pen. Hilarious. Adam, were you going to jump in with something?
Yeah, I was just going to say one of the things that I always go back to, Colin's point is a good one. If you're not interested in what PWCC's extra sort of verification or extra thoughts on the card are, it might not be worth more to you, but it definitely is to some people. I mean, you can look through, lots of comps and you can see that lots of cards have sold for way more because of that. But it might not be for you, Colin. For me personally, I look at the card and sort of make my own judgment, like Jeremy was saying. Like, there's cards that are 9s or 10s that I won't buy because I don't like something on the card. And
I think Colin's big thing was he just didn't understand how value would remain with it post auction close. And I think that's by the fact that the card travels subsequently with a certificate and a sticker on the back of the card that ties to that certificate itself. So yeah, it doesn't just disappear.
That's right. And the other part of it, Jeremy, is like that card still will exist in the sales, sold listings forever. So those two things with it will be attached forever.
And I said earlier, when I bought my Hank Aaron rookie card here, this one from Jeff Foy, who's Card Country at the National, I've bought cards from him. My tradition was to buy a card from him every year because he had the nicest cards in the room for the grade. His prices were the highest for the grade, and I paid more than I would have paid for a card in the same grade elsewhere. No PWCC IPL rating, but I'll tell you what, Colin and everybody else, if I were ever to give this card to PWCC to sell for me, I am like 90% certain it's going to get one of their special IPL ratings because I've examined it. It's nice for the grade. I've never seen a 6 this nice. It's nicer than some 7s. And to what Adam was just saying before, there are cards that I would rather have a 7 than some 9s. I'd rather have a 5 than some 7s just because the 5 might look nicer than the 7. There might be a technical flaw to a 7 to the 5 that I can't really see that grades it lower than the 7, and I would rather have the 5. You can save money that way, and because the 7's probably going to sell for more than the highest ranked 5. But are you going to be okay having a 5 on your slab? Well, depends. Are you someone who buys the card or the grade or somewhere in between? Okay, we've had a couple bids here. The Mickey Mantle SGC 4.5 is at $29,000, but it's worth to note, everybody, there has not been a bid at all in the last 2.5 minutes. So if this ticker gets down to 0, the auction will end. Also worthy to note that it is about 8:50 right now. Sorry, 7:50 Pacific right now. In 10 minutes, the extended bidding, I believe, will come down to 5. Is it 5 or 2? Oh, it's just actually, let me go back to this. Let me put this back on the ticker, guys, and let's remind ourselves of what's going to happen here. So 8 o'clock. Yeah, so we are 10 more minutes into the 10-minute extended bidding window, and then in 10 minutes from now, if there is not a bid for 5 minutes, the auction will end. So we are still in the 10-minute window. And again, there has not been a bid now for 3.5 minutes on any card in the auction, meaning the auction could theoretically end in 6.5 minutes. All right, let's go back to some more comments from all of y'all. We're on a good roll here. Daniel says that the Gretzky has a smudge on the word Oilers, and it's a blurry picture, but the corners and edges are beautiful. Fair comments. Not sure what that's about. Hey, Robert Finley, great to have you. Jordan tells us 318 PSA 10 MJs approximately. I believe it's like 317, unless there's been a new one recently, which there very easily could have been. That's cool. I had a 9-pocket page full of each of the 87 and 88 Jordan stickers. Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun. And look who joined us. We got Rodman Martinez, the one and only, the famous, the man who transcends the hobby himself. Good evening, Rodman Martinez. He's having a great night as always. Jose says it's nice he's here to buy all the MJs. Rodman, are you bidding on anything? Please let us know. Mosaic says, how often do Grail 10s come onto the market? It's always a risk when people put Grail 10s on the market after sitting on the sidelines for a long time, but it can pay off. Yeah, that's true. Oh, we've had a bid. We've had a couple of bids now, so the clock has been reset to 10 minutes. But at this point, this is the last 10-minute window we're going to see, because the first bid that happens after 8 o'clock Pacific will force the timer to reset to 5 minutes. But there we go. The X Fractor LeBron and a BGS 9 holder is now at $48,000.
Hey, let me ask real quick. If Rodman's still there, Rodman, are you bidding on that PMG Jordan? Because I know you've got most of the big Jordans, man. I think that one's missing though. If I might be right, I think I'm right about that. So if you're bidding, good luck.
Good luck to Rodman if he is making a play at that Pmg Red Michael Jordan. What a great card. To this question here from Mosaic Mind, though, and this is already old. We're 20 minutes old on the comments here, Adam. But yeah, if you have a grail that hasn't sold at all in a long time and you decide to throw it up at auction, you don't know where it's going to land because you just don't have any indication because there's probably no comp. So it can be risky, but it could pay off big time. That's for sure. Rodman wants to buy the Kobe's. And Ken Richardson says he's interested in the Basketball Card Fanatic magazine. Maybe meet at the National. Ken, Adam will not, unfortunately, be at the National. So maybe send him a message, or you can always go through me. I will hook you up with Adam for sure. Jeff Morris says soccer is 11 guys pretending they are hurt. Football is 11 guys pretending they aren't hurt. Very funny. Rock Latex says very true about the Fleer stickers. I would say less than 10% of the 89 run have decent centering, and we're not taking into account corners and wax since they're the last card in the pack. Very true. Troy would also keep that Contenders football box closed. No doubt.
We're really behind, Jeremy, aren't we?
We are. Well, there's another been some bids, but hey, we're gonna go through Larry Legend. Yes, 5 minutes left. Oh, that's old. Boy, where did we just go?
We're really behind.
We are, but that's okay. I'm gonna run through a few more, and then we'll. But the nice thing, Adam, and I hope everybody in the chat appreciates that we can see the most recent bids at the top of the screen right now, which is super informative. It tells us what's going on in the auction. It tells us what cards people are bidding on that are keeping everything alive. And right here, the Exquisite MJ is the last card in the BGS 9.5 holder to pull in a bid of $65,000, which would be 78 with buyer's premium. But there's a couple comments I do want to get to here, Adam. 88-79 for the Bucks in the third quarter. So hey, are they going to win 3 in a row? Looks like they just well might. Although these games are never over till they're over. Well, I won't say never, but this one isn't. Thank you very much, Rock Latex. The 48 Jackie, there isn't one in the auction, so I did not pull mine out. COVID card collector says Bucks in 6. Giannis is on another level. Colin, you are welcome. Hope that really helped shed some light on that whole eye appeal thing. Shane DeVoe says the PWCC eye appeal is definitely worth the opinion. Yeah, they've seen a lot of cards. They really have seen a lot of cards. Joe Perot says, interesting to see some heavy hitters and old and new in the SGC tuxedo slab. I've come around to it. Hey, it's all based on what you like to look at, what looks good to you. We all have the right to spend our money on what we want, and we can have our own opinion on our own slabs. Nothing against that at all.
I have to say real quick, Jeremy, I saw in one of the chats that you and I are both in, there was somebody who was saying that the LeBron if it wasn't in the SGC holder would be higher at this point. It's an interesting question. If you're a really big time buyer and you think that SGC LeBron is going to get bumped to is going to be a BGS 9, is it worth the risk of buying that thing, cracking it and submitting it? If you get a 9 or even maybe something less than that, you might be making some serious money. I don't know. It's way out of my league, but I think there's some people who are maybe thinking about that.
I know that there's been a lot of arbitrage that's been realized by obviously buying a card in one slab, cracking it, and resubbing it somewhere else. And it's a rough game to play. I mean, you can win, you can lose big on that, you can win big. What if you send it off to another grader and they see something that the other one didn't, and now it comes back, an 8 or a 7 or you just don't know. And then I'll put it back in the original slab, send it back to those guys. What if you get a different grade that time? It's really a tough game to play. I prefer not to. I've done it a few times over the past, 15 years, but I'm now at a point where, if I buy a card, I'm going to pretty much leave it where it is. Especially if I'm not planning to sell it, which most of my cards I don't plan to sell, like at least in the near term, that's for sure. I feel like we skipped a whole bunch of comments. Look at that, Adam, your numbers card. The emblems had it. So it looks like someone's making a play on all these beautiful, exquisite Michael Jordans. First, the exquisite went to 65. Then the emblems of endorsement does 150, and now the numbers is up to 140. What was that at when we started the night? Was that at like 80 or 90?
It was at 85. 90. It was at 85 when we started, and I was trying to figure out whether. And I told you before the show, I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to go anymore. And then almost immediately it jumped to 120. So we've seen 2 more bids since then.
Now it's at 140. So Mike Wick says that SGC has been gaining some ground on PSA lately in the cards. I've been watching at least. Hey, well, it's good to know. Curious to know what cards you watch. You know, if there's a few of them. Mike Wick. Hey, Rich Frank. Great to see you. Jordan lets us know it is now 100 to 90 end of the third. I might have said that already. Sorry if I did. Global Sports. Gotta wish you luck. He's bidding on a Grail piece that he's never even seen before anywhere. Ends in 9 days on PWCC eBay. Good luck to you on that. Shomi did his first submission with SGC on Friday, 30 cards, first time. Good luck with your submission, definitely. Shane says BGS over SGC. Logan Ward once had an SGC 7 come back a PSA 4.5. Yeah, there's lots of stories out there similar to that. So you got to be careful. You just got to be careful. Numbers Exquisite is very sexy. Got to agree with Shane on that one. And Mosaic Mind says, can anyone place a bid during a PWCC auction? Does PWCC vet the bidder? Yeah, you have to register for this premier auction, Mosaic Mind. You do have to vet it for sure.
Let's just say about that, if you're just watching us for the first time and you're looking at these things and you're thinking, boy, I wish I could bid, go register now for the next one and enjoy the show tonight. But that's unfortunately the cost that comes with getting, the right quality of bidders, people who will actually be more likely to pay, than your average people out on eBay. The reason I don't want to put words in I don't want to put words in PS or in PWCC's mouth, because I am not PWCC. I don't represent PWCC, but I think that when it comes to these high dollar items, they want to know that the bidders are going to pay. And so putting it out here on their own platform and then vetting them makes it more likely that they will. So, go get registered for the next one in August.
Yep, makes good sense. Guys, I want to let everybody know that later on tonight, joining me on a regular episode of Sports Cards Live After Hours is none other than hobby content creator, celebrity collector, just all around good guy. Peter Pacman will be joining me later on this evening. Next Saturday, the last Saturday before the National, we're going to have the early episode Sports Cards Live. None other than Dr. James Beckett will be joining me on the show, followed by another very popular content creator, Filmington, will be joining me. Filmington will also be at the National. Dr. Beckett will be at the National. He has never missed one. And then from the National, I will be doing some live streaming from there intermittently. So watch the channel, watch the Facebook group to see when I will be going live from the National. It won't be the walking around vlog style. It will be from my streaming station at booth 866. Booth 866, right beside Leaf. Booth 866 of the National is where you will find me. And the first Saturday after the National, joining me will be Brian Gray from Leaf to discuss what he saw, heard, felt, what was going on at the National. He'll be a great guy to debrief the National on the regular episode of Sports Cards Live, which will be on August the 7th. All these episodes are on the ticker right now. Put them in your calendar. Mark them down. Definitely want to see you there, guys. If you are new to the channel, welcome to Sports Cards Live. We do these PWCC Premier Auctions when they happen during extended bidding. We start a half hour before extended bidding. Adam joins me and we run through and we cover the auction. I also cover when their hockey auctions end once a month. This month, it's on the 25th, Sunday, the night after the regular episode of Sports Cards Live. I will be covering the hockey auctions. If that interests you, please join Adam. We have a bid on the SGC 10, LeBron James, RPA, exquisite rookie, $750,000 now, everybody, $750,000. And I do believe the next bid that comes in, the ticker will now max out at 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes. So the LeBron keeps on climbing. We will see if there are more bids. We have to wonder, guys. Adam, what do you think? Are the fractional ownership companies, are they bidding on any of these cards? When I saw those 3 exquisite Michael Jordan cards get bids consecutively, that's what went in my head. One of those fractionals is trying to buy up the bucket of them. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I think there's 100% chance that they are.
100?
I mean, when you really think about this, like this is something that has been in my mind for a long time. People will ask. I'm sure they've asked you these questions too, Jeremy. People will say things like, "Why aren't you selling your big cards?" Well, there's a few reasons. One, because I'm insane and I love cardboard. But the other reason is, like, you could see this coming for a long time. Fractional ownership and funds make it so that you don't have to actually own a whole card for it to continue to increase in value. And so you got people who now can buy a card and it can be split into 1,000 or more shares. So, how many people can afford $750,000 or what is $900,000 for this LeBron James? Not very many. But if one of these larger fractional groups can take that card, sell shares, and give normal people the chance to go buy into it, then its value can be worth tons more than it is. And that's what we've seen over the last year, and we're going to continue to see that, I believe.
And we are now in the 5-minute extended bidding window. I think that this clock will update momentarily because it did just say we are now entering the 5-minute zone. I think that's really cool. So
Jeremy, do you think we could go to the ones that we haven't gotten to yet and just like rapid fire them? Do you still want to do that, or do you want to?
Sure. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Let's do that. Now we are on page 2. So I think we got down. Did we get to these ones here? Yes, we did those.
Yep, we did those. That's where we ended right there.
Yeah, this one we've talked about because it had a bid recently. There's a BGS 9.5 Tom Brady SP Authentic rookie at a $1,250, $22,000. That's not that. I'd like to buy that card. I'm not going to, but I'd like to. Actually, let's have a look. I want to see the subgrades on this card, if you don't mind, because this is a card to me that the contenders. I understand this card is so tough for me because, number one, I love the SP Authentic brand. He's not in a game jersey, so that kind of hurts it for me. But you got 3, it does not have max subs. It's got kind of 395s and a 9. So it's still a great card. I love it. The contenders card, Adam, I know that it's more important. It's autographed, but I just don't love the looks of it. I never have. I've always preferred the looks of the SP Authentic with the white, the nice clean white background border. I don't know, just really like it. Maybe
if he was in a normal Pats jersey, I think that might be his. It might be the rookie to get. I might be wrong. I'm a basketball guy, and so I see a basketball brand like SP Authentic, and it just means more to me than Contenders does. But I'm kind of the same as you.
Yeah. And then the 96 Topps Chrome, one of the 3 refractor Kobe's PSA 9 is at $32,000. Great card. This one, just even from being zoomed out like this, there seems to be like no greening happening. So this, let's zoom in on that. This is important because
it is.
If there is no greening on this card, then it's going to be, one of those strong for the grade sort of scenarios. And I mean, I don't usually you see it on his arms right in this area here. And it can go up into his shoulders and neck. Often you see it in the legs. And then you can also see it in the crowd here sometimes. And even right there, which maybe just a real light degree of it, but this seems to be a very strong copy. Let's just go to this image here for a second. So it's off-centered. That's why it's not a 10. Now it's also an old label, so meaning that it's been in the slab for a very long time. It hasn't greened at all. It went into the slab, just like this, obviously. And because sometimes what I mean is you can see a card that's greened and you don't know, did it green after it was slabbed or before it was slabbed? Well, this one hasn't greened at all. So we know that it's just the centering that keeps us from being a PSA 10.
Flip the case over real quick on the 3D imaging. That works too. Yeah. That's one of the oldest PSA cases out there. That card was probably graded in the late 90s or early 2000s. And I don't know the exact years on that, by the way, but I do know that's one of the very first holders that they had. That's a great copy. And for that reason, that card may even sell for as much as like the 9.5 that we were looking at.
And you know, aside from the centering, which might hold it back from that, it really, and also the fact that a lot of people do kind of just look at the grade first. It should, right? Aside from the centering, it should. If this was centered a little bit better, I would pay more for this than I would a greened BGS 9.5. I wouldn't even buy a green BGS 9.5, but just to say it, I would definitely pick this over it and would pay more than I would for a 9.5 that wasn't as nice. Because to me, the image itself is so important. Earlier on, someone made the comment, it was Joe made the comment on the Wilt Chamberlain that it had really great print and registration. And to me, that's so important on a card. I don't want any major printing flaws on the front of a card. Registration issues. I want my cards in focus. So important to me on as far as the condition of a card goes. All right, let's scroll up and see what's happening up here. Since the LeBron, there's been a bid on the dual auto. One of the dual autos of MJ and LeBron, it's at $40,000. The Jim Brown PSA 8 is up to $60,000, which would be $72,000 with buyer's premium. And the PSA 9 Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie is at $27,000, and another bid on one of the unopened cases of cards. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left in the bidding window. And let's see what the next three cards are. We're on the top of the last page of the auction. Michael Jordan BGS 9.5 is at $55,000. I do believe we've spoken about, well, we've seen bids coming on that. The Willie Mays PSA 7, $36,000. What a great card. We've seen bids. Ricky Henderson SGC 10 is at $21,000. A PSA 10, I believe, does $100,000. So pretty crazy how much money you can save if you're willing to, you know, if you put these two cards side by side, the PSA 10 and the SGC 10, and you don't see much of a difference, I mean, how do you, I don't know, tough to justify the extra money.
You know, just to jump in real quick, to me, seeing a $21,000 bid on a card that in an SGC holder actually kind of legitimizes SGC a little bit. I hear what you're saying too, Jeremy, where you're like, well, listen, this is so much less than if it was PSA. I think that's definitely true, but to see 21,000 on it in the SGC 10 lets you think that some people think there's maybe a chance to cross it, or maybe there are people who are collecting it and you know, getting an SGC 10 is going to be really tough too. So I think that's pretty cool for SGC to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, with those comments. There's the LeBron Exquisite Collection. Rookie. Oh God, what a great card. See, if I was like playing at these levels, this is a card that I would definitely be considering tonight. But unfortunately, I'm not. Yeah,
let me just take just a second on that one. You know, that's out of the same product and numbered almost identically to the one that's going to sell for close to $1 million, or maybe even over $1 million if it gets any more action. I know why, right? And the reason is that it's not the true rookie card. It's not from the base set. It's certainly not as iconic of a card, but like it is from the original Exquisite. It is an autograph patch, and it does cost less than 10%. And that's, you know, it makes it be something that you might want to look at.
It's a great alternative to the rookie for a fraction of the price, for sure. Okay, then another Jim Brown, the Jim Brown at PSA 8 at $65,000 with the superior eye appeal, so it's definitely going to get a premium on that. And then the PSA, I think we just ran through those, didn't I? Okay, before we hit these three cards here, I'm going to leave them right there for a second. I'm going to go to some comments. Actually, I'm going to go to the top of the screen instead so we can see the bids. Look at the logos, $420,000 now. Plus $84,000, puts that at over $500,000. That's a big amount for that card, I believe.
I'm shaking my head at the LeBron limited logos. I had multiple people messaging my head $100,000 ago going, this is an amazing price for this card. And it's just more amazing, right? $420, $440. As we're talking, it's getting bid on. It just tells you there's probably two big MJ collectors that are just going head to head on this. And like I highlighted, the patch on this is really nice. The autograph is really nice. It's perfectly blue. It's in a great grade. You don't see these in PSA holders very much because most people prefer like the jumbo or the thicker cards in BGS holders. But right now, that card is the one that just sort of like really turns your head as far as prices go. I would take the number pieces. I would take the number pieces. And it went up again. Look at that.
Yeah. And just to note, it's a PSA 9. It's not even in a PSA 10 holder. It's in a PSA 9. So, okay, while we watch these and continually be amazed by what's going on with Michael Jordan tonight, let's go. Troy, can't wait. Thank you very much, Troy. Hope to deliver some good content from the National for sure. Mosaic poses an interesting question. How important is the quality of the slab in the bidding of a slab card? Is a PSA 10 with a scratch worth less than a PSA 9 that's in a flawless slab? I think the simple answer is no. The grade is more important than the slab because you can always get it re-slabbed for a very nominal fee just to have it put back into the same holder. So I would say it's not very important to the price of a card. Game Time says Gary V spending his V friends millions on the Jordans could very well be. What a way to just create money out of nothing. Congrats to Gary V if that's what he is doing tonight. If you are Gary, come on the show and let's talk about it. All right. Show Me poses an interesting question. What if Topps Baseball did a Brady draft picks card back in the day when he was drafted by the Expos? Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Almost like a Michael Jordan baseball card. Maybe a bit different, but very cool idea. Some fun thought experiment for sure. Troy says Bowman Brady is better looking card than the Contenders Brady. Eye appeal is so important for me when I thought, yeah. At first I wasn't crazy about that the Bowman Chrome, the Bowman Brady rookie, but it did grow on me. It did. Those colors grew on me. What is up, Rage? Great to have you. Always great to have you, sir. Jordan lets us know. Now, this is already a few minutes old, so the game will be further ahead than this. But last we saw, $108, 100 Suns. Thank you, Jordan. Mosaic says that he's cleaned wax stains off of cards. Will PSA consider these to be altered and not grade them? PSA can make mistakes. I'm not sure on that. I think if you remove the wax and because it wasn't meant to be there to begin. So removing that, I think, is something that if they can't detect it, they can't detect that you remove something that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place.
So most of those stickers, as we were talking about, specifically 86, every one of those cards on the card has a wax stain, every single one of them. And so I remember back when I worked at the card shop back in 2000 to 2007, the common thing that people would do is they would take sort of like the sort of material that's like on a nylon and like rub that off of it. If you don't rub that off, and I don't know the perfect way to do that, by the way, don't listen to my expertise on that because it's not expertise. But if you don't do that, you will get the card back with the qualifier from PSA. It's saying ST, which stands for stained, I believe. So you do need to get that off if you want the highest grade.
Bid in on the O-Pee-Chee PSA 9 Wayne Gretzky up to 80,000, 96 with buyer's premium. As someone who likes the hockey market, I like to see this card get some bids. Global makes an interesting observation. No Steph Curry's in the auction tonight, Adam, which I hadn't even thought about. But, are people holding, or why do you think that might be?
Well, Steph doesn't have that much amazing stuff. I mean, Steph has his Chrome rookie. Steph's got, National Treasures. And that's basically the end of the list for the great rookie stuff. I mean, there's a couple other little things that I don't want to speak down to any of his other stuff because he has some other things. And then as his career goes on, he has some good cards as well. But like Steph is a great player to collect because he doesn't have a lot of great rookie cards. So it is really a surprise when a great Steph does pop up for auction.
Darcy Ravlik says, Jeremy, can you pick me up the LeBron Exquisite for my birthday, buddy? Sure, Darce. Hold on, guys. I'm just going to bid on that LeBron for Darcy. There we go. Coming our way. But as you can see, no bid was really placed. Well, Jake Mine says, PSA is currently the gold standard in the market, whether they deserve it or not. But I remember a time when Yahoo dominated the internet. Not anymore. Things do change. But PSA is in good hands right now. I think it's pretty strong. I don't have any doubt that they'll be fine for quite some time. Logan Ward says, buy the card, not the slab. I mean, that needs to go on a shirt. And everybody in the hobby should have one because that's just really a good way to go. But you know what? The devil's advocate comment to that is that from an investment perspective, I heard someone say, I forget who it was, someone prominent, I think Ken Golden actually might have said on one of his lives that investors buy the slab, collectors buy the card. And I think that that's less true now than it was, 6 months ago. But I think that, I buy the card, Adam buys the card, collectors buy the card, people with experience buy the card. But if you're just an investor and you recognize that a lot of the market just looks at what the grade says, what the auction title says in a lot of cases, it's good advice for most, but I don't think it's the right advice for everybody. And I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. the Jordan just get another bid there, Adam, up to 480. Then the Gretzky just got another bid to 85.
That's why my head is shaking. It's really cool to see things change in our market, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I would take the rare exquisite cards, and I know a lot of people feel the same way, but what you said, Jeremy, about it being a big patch and an autograph and a well-known card, maybe that's what wins the day. You know, maybe it's not rarity that really wins the day in these situations, but it's the well-known thing, and maybe it's the quality of the patch. I don't know, but that price is incredible.
I think a lot of it, Adam, is the brand equity that's associated to limited logos. You know, that insert set has been around for a long time. It still exists in the cup in hockey. The other thing with this particular limited logos, though, is, which I think would work against it, but it doesn't, is the fact that the picture of Michael Jordan itself is about the size of a dime. The whole card is dedicated. You know, you've got 25 to 30% of the card, 25% of the card dedicated to the autograph space, 50% of the card dedicated, maybe 40 to the logo. The top of the card, the top 20% of the card is dedicated to white and black, just colors. And then you've got like 15% of the card dedicated to Michael Jordan's head. Not even 15%, like 5% dedicated to his head. So you don't get much of a picture. I'd have to go back and look at the emblems of endorsement and the numbers patch to see how much of the card shows MJ himself. But to me, this is something that I would think back in the day when it came out, people would be like, I'm going to go for those other ones because you have more of a picture of the player. Here you just have the head, and it's it's the same size as Wayne Gretzky's head right next to him.
You just don't get the rest of the body. You know, this may end up turning into like the PWCC auction that like had the Michael Jordan limited logos card in it. You know, as I think about my collection and you know, Jeremy, I've been on your show before to talk about the top 100, my like top 100 cards in my collection. I have this thing that I'm considering right now, and a couple of people know that because I've asked them the question. I have 3 really big Kobe Bryant cards, and one of them that I think go against each other that are like hard to rank. One of them is his 04 limited logos, but like this patch, it's just a really awesome patch, and the autograph is perfect, and it's a great card. But there's not been anything that has allowed me to say, oh, it's going to be higher than these other two price wise. This is the sort of comp that changes those things, because this, like, over $500,000 for this card it's a big deal right now, what we're seeing with this card. Yeah.
Well, it's good to know, guys. We are witnessing somewhat, you know, hobby history right now with this Michael Jordan limited logos card. Hey guys, check out Slab Shelf. I don't know if you're familiar with Slab Shelf, but check them out. Slabshelf.com, I believe, is the website. If you can see right there, I've got 8 cards sitting on a slab shelf. John, who runs the company, sent me one, and I want to kind of help promote him and his business. A new company in the hobby trying to help you display your cards. So check out Slab Shelf, everybody. And John, you're welcome. Happy to plug you. All right. I want to go to Mike's comment here. SGC has been around 22 years, and I agree that 10 Henderson is a steal at this point. And as one of the top 3 trusted companies, their 10s definitely make sense to invest in these days. Fair opinion and comment. Thank you, Mike Wick. Show Me says nylon stocking was the way to remove wax back in the day. Yes, I think definitely heard that. Erik does not like the looks of the O-Pee-Chee PSA 9 Wayne Gretzky. Fair comment. COVID card collector agrees that real collectors I think the real collectors will move away from PSA to custom and subgrade companies. I completely disagree, COVID card collector, with that. I think you're in for a surprise. Now, I think it might be the exact opposite, where the real collectors will not move away. I think that the experienced collectors are going to stick with the incumbents, whether they prefer PSA, SGC, or BGS. I don't think that. I think that's going to be what's going to happen in the long run. My thoughts and opinions based on people I talk to. Delond, I love crazies. Surzies. What are Surzies? And sports cards. Well, we love sports cards too. Maybe Surzies, not quite sure. Show Me says the Jordan patch swatch is nice, being a letter. Yeah, the limited logos he's talking about for sure. Rage says it's like paying for a copy of Jordan's license photo, being how small his picture is on the limited logos. There's a bid on the 87 Fleer sticker, guys, up to $27,000 plus buyer's premium. Troy says good analysis on the MJ logo card. Emphasis is definitely on that logo versus anything else, which it really is. It's called limited logo, so the emphasis is meant to be on the logo itself. It's nice that there's an autograph to go along with it. So, I'm not really being critical of the design. I'm just saying, and I don't think anyone's saying I was, but I'm just saying that it's just interesting that I believe back in the day, Adam, when these cards first came out, that people would have made the comment that there's hardly any MJ on there. What were you going to jump in with?
I was just going to say, I interviewed Carvin, who I know has been on your show a bunch of times, who is the creator of Exquisite. And I asked him specifically about what limited logos years he liked best. Because as we're talking about here right now, there's certain things about the first year that people don't like as much as they like subsequent years. So I wondered what he thought. And he said he said that the first year of Exquisite was his favorite product that they created. But the 2003 limited logos, and this is in, by the way, it's in BCF. I think it's in issue 7. No, it's in issue 9 that we interviewed Carvin. In fact, it's this one right here. This one right here with the Rodman on the front. When I asked him about that, he actually said that 2003 wasn't his favorite for precisely the reason that you're talking about, Jeremy. That the image for the player was too small in retrospect. Still, one of the great patch auto sets ever made, but probably not the favorite of a lot of people who love the original Exquisite stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. And what Carvin's also mentioned that they held some things back in the design aspects or the attribute aspects, right? So, you can't come out guns a-blazing with your first product. You need to leave room to improve next year to keep the customers coming back, which now it doesn't seem like that's an issue anymore. I think we can almost take it for granted that the customers are going to come back because there's such a feverish hunger for unopened product nowadays. But and what he meant by that was, like, for example, the logo men were not autographed in the first year. And then the second year they came back and they autographed them because that was an upgrade that they could provide from year 1 to year 2 and various other things. The card companies still work that way, as they should. They have to keep things interesting.
They do. I want to jump in just real quick because the last time I wanted to, it got off the screen real fast. But, as we look through these cards again, and you and I know, had both studied all 66 items before we came out here. But the one that is interesting to me now that I'm watching is sitting in the middle of the screen right now, and that's this 9-5 of the great card from 1980 Topps. If you look back in time and you just sort of forget the last couple of years, there's been a long history where BGS was preferred over any other grader. And you look at this card being in a 9-5 case. I don't know what the population is off the top of my head. Maybe we can click on it and find out. But there's not very many of this card, certainly in this grade. And BGS is not the preferred case at this slab at this point. But when was the card graded? What's the slab number on that, Jeremy? Can you see it?
0004 00047.
That was graded a long time ago, 15 years ago or more. And to see that card graded that long ago in that condition is really cool. And if that was a gem mint card in a PSA holder, it would be over 10 times that price.
Yeah.
So, when you were talking about arbitrage earlier, I'm not sure if you could buy this and sub it and get a PSA 10. I have no idea about that. But I also know that it hasn't been cracked and submitted to PSA yet either, because it's from, that's a really old sub, and the card's in great shape. So.
Yeah, I think what happens with cards from this vintage that are in the BGS 9.5 or higher holders is that collectors have a fear that it might be what we commonly refer to as sheet cut, i.e. not pack pulled, cut after the fact by someone who didn't work at Topps. So that's why it might be held back. I can't tell if it is or it isn't. It's got very, very sharp edges, but that just might be the way it was cut at the factory. Otherwise, it does look to be a very nice card. I mean, it seems to have a couple of minor surface, like printing weaknesses, I'll call them. I don't know if this is a scratch on the slab or an actual, I think it's probably on the slab. So
looks like it.
Yeah, it might not be. And then you've got
Let
right
me
here.
let me also just point out real quick as you do this, Jeremy, because you're the best at looking at these cards the way that you're doing it right now, and I think you add a lot of value. You might remember this from our thread that we're both on together, our Instagram group that we're both on together. But I submitted for a friend one of these cards to PSA, and it had a very noticeable dark smudge. Not smudge, I don't even know what you would call it, but something noticeable along the top in the white border. And I thought, well, it's got that thing. It can't be anything higher than a 6 or a 7. And I was shocked, completely and totally shocked when it came back at PSA 9. I sold it before the boom, made a huge mistake there. The rest is history. But my point is that these cards from this vintage and from this entire area, the 70s and before, have issues with them, have significant issues. And you're not going to find cards that are really, truly like perfect. And so even a gem mint card you would look at and you would notice some of these issues. Jeremy's probably right. Maybe it's not a PSA, maybe it's not a PSA 10, but maybe it is. I don't know. What I do know is that finding this card in a 9.5 from Beckett is pretty awesome. And then paying literally less than 1/10 the price of a PSA 10 seems appealing to me too.
That's appealing. I mean, a card doesn't have to be absolutely flawless and perfect. I'm seeing a slight registration issue here on the Julius Erving letters. You can see that the plates didn't strike perfectly, it looks like. And then the minor whatever this is here, but in any event, still a fantastic card. It looks great. And how often do you actually look at your cards at this type of magnification? Very rarely. Do you? This is PWCC offers the best view of a card on the internet that I've ever seen, as far as how high res you can go. But I wonder if that is good or bad. You want to be able to see what you're buying. A buyer should be able to really inspect what they're seeing, and the transparency of it, I think, is second to none. So, but how often? Again, I look at my card. It's like this. I'm looking at it like this. I'm not like this, and. But when I buy a card, I do pull up my loop and I look at it under, I believe, 40x. Yeah, I use this little guy here that's got 40x magnification. So,
hey, the MJ rookie just got another bid. It's at 550 now.
What's going on here? Let's see. There we go.
And,
550.
And score update too. We got 1:25 to go, and it's a 6-point game. Bucks are up.
Bucks are up by 6. All right, let's go to some more comments while we let the bids roll in here. There has not been a bid in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So I want to jump in right over here. Show Me says Jordan cards will be hot after tonight going into the National. Yeah, I think that's a very, very fair comment. Mosaic Mind says PSA may be untouchable going forward. Who can say? Who can say? Rich Frank says custom slabs are a gimmick. That's an opinion. Ronnie Saunders, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate having you. And then very nice comment. Show Me says PSA is the Rolls Royce on grading. Beckett's the Ferrari, SGC the Porsche. The rest are Plymouth Reliant K cars. All right. Troy says HGA is gimmicky. I will not have any in my collection. Delon says, yes, Survey says, of course, it's Survey says. Yeah, how did I not know that? Thank you, Delon. Luigi says BGS 9s and 9.5s are incredible value plays. Yeah, depending on the card. I'm sure there are definite value plays out there. Rock Latex says BVG ease their grading criteria for vintage. That's why they don't go by BGS. Yes, Beckett uses their BVG standards, I suppose, for vintage cards pre-1979 and earlier. Colin says, sounds like Adam almost has a soft spot for older PSA slabs. Am I hearing that correctly? Seems like some buyers don't like them. I'm indifferent. Adam, do you have a soft spot for old PSA slabs?
I have more of a soft spot for old BGS holders, because you can see exactly when the card was graded compared to when other cards have been graded since then. PSA, I don't have. I do still like older slabs, but in my experience, some of the older PSA slabs don't do as good of a job of protecting the cards. So if you can find an old slab where you feel like the card has still been well preserved, like the Kobe that we were talking about seems to have been, then yes, I do have a soft spot for those.
And Luke says, can we discuss the Pacquiao card, please? So I just brought it up here. This is a really awesome card. I'm not sure what is that. It's Chinese on the back, I believe. It's from a magazine, hand cut, 1999 World Boxing. It's in a Gem Mint 10 holder. I mean, what a cool looking card. And I like how big it is too. It fills up like almost the whole slab area side to side. Seems to be bigger than most cards in slabs to me. But what's to say? I mean, I don't know much about this card. I think that if this is what would be considered his rookie card, then it's a very important card. I can't, deny or verify that. I'm just saying I'm not sure, but I think it's really cool looking. Is it it's not a sticker then, it's hand cut. Oh, it's like from a magazine page, hand cut out of a magazine. So it's probably very flimsy, very, very flimsy, right? So is it a card? I don't even know if I'd consider it to be a card, or is it like the SI for kids where it was in, I guess what it would have been is you had a page within the magazine that was thicker stock than the rest of the magazine. You saw that in the old Legends magazines and a couple of others too. So I think that's probably what it would have been, but I'm not sure. I'm totally speculating. In any event, I think it's a cool card, Luke. If you're in on it, good luck. $19,000. I mean, what does PWCC tell us about the card itself? It says it stands as his single most important rookie card for his brand. All four corners uniformly untouched, flawless edges, pristine surfaces, free of wear, vibrant color, crystal clear shot, and more about his career. So yeah, don't know much about it, but seems like a pretty important card if you're a boxing fan. That would be a big one.
I think the key here is that if a hand cut card is one of his key one of his key cards, it probably tells you that he doesn't have a lot of great options. And Jeremy and I probably aren't I'll speak for myself. I'm not the boxing card expert out there. But if a guy doesn't have a lot of great options, and it's his oldest card, that might be what matters most. Quick update, by the way, because we know that those of you who are watching, unless you have multiple screens going, are not also watching the game. The game is actually a 1-point game with 35 seconds to go. Jeremy's gonna keep going here, but I'm also following along, and I'll let you know what's going on just in case you don't have access to a screen. Looks like Phoenix has the ball with 20 seconds to go and a chance to take the lead after being down for really the whole game. But Milwaukee steals the ball. 12 seconds left. Oh, wow. Are you watching this, Jeremy?
I'm not.
Giannis just had a dunk, and I don't want to pull anyone away from this, obviously. Giannis just had a huge dunk. Milwaukee's going crazy. It's a 3-point game, 13 seconds to go. He gets fouled with a chance to go up 2 possessions right here at the end. Huge Giannis moment right here. So anyway, I'll keep updating you guys.
All right. So we had the logos is up to 500,000. The numbers is at 170. I'm going to run through some comments, guys. We do have a special guest who is going to join us on the screen in a couple of minutes. Hang tight back there. I see you. Hang tight. I'm going to introduce you in a minute, and we're going to bring you on for about 10 or 15 minutes to join us. But I want to run through some comments first. And Adam, when the game ends, jump in and let me know. Colin says, I intentionally don't look at my cards under magnification to deliberately not see every flaw. To me, it's a bit like subgrades on BGS. Just draws my attention to the problems. Yeah, that's a fair way to collect, right? Rage says, I do the same thing, 40 times magnification and reverse the negative as well. It's godlike. Good way to look at the card. Junk Wax says that Pacquiao is a made for hand cut card. Yeah, hand cut is misleading, right? They could have used a guillotine cut or that kind of thing too. Who knows? 1-point game, says Jordan, although that is now 5 minutes old. Garrett Patrick, I thought the McDavid would go for more in a 10, could be a steal there. And there has not been a bid in 3 minutes, everybody. Actually, we're now in the 2-minute window. Window.
That's important to recognize here because at this point, PWCC, what they basically said is we don't want this thing to take all night. Nobody else has extended bidding where it's 2 minutes at a time. So this thing could end any second now, basically, or it could go for another hour. We'll see.
Joe Perot celebrating that Giannis dunk that we just heard about for sure. Show Me says we need Ryan Nolan breakout cards to break down the Manny Pacquiao cards. Bucks in 6. Pac-Man is my guy. Pac-Man will be on with me on the show here in about 25 to 30 minutes, especially if this auction ends. The Jordan just got a bid. The Jordan is now at $720,000, back up to where one sold for. 2 sold back in January. I want to get to the bottom of his comments, and we're going to bring on a special guest who's going to come on with us for about 10 minutes. Okay, and Global says the new Giannis rookie is looking beautiful right now. Congratulations to you, Global. Is the game over yet, Adam?
It is not. For everybody's benefit, Giannis missed his free throw. Amazingly, the ball gets tapped out, and Milwaukee grabs the rebound, hits, and they miss their first free throw. I don't know if the second free throw has happened yet, but I think it's still
showing a 4-point game with 1 second left on my phone, so I don't know.
Basically, the game's over.
All right, guys. All right. Junk Wax ties the record for an MJ rookie. That's crazy. All right, guys. We are going to we're going to keep the screen on. We're going to bring on Erik Myers. Erik Myers, everybody, is a guy who buys big cards, sells big cards. He's a collector. He's someone who I've known now for about a year. We became pals. He was a guest on After Hours several months ago. Y'all saw him. Y'all loved him on the show. Got great feedback on his episode. He's a hobby veteran. He's been doing this for many, many years, known by a lot of veterans in the hobby as well. And he started working at PWCC probably like 2 months ago. We're going to bring him in. And believe it or not, he is coming at us live from South Korea. Erik, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight, man? Or this morning where you are?
Yeah, it is noon. It's 12:30 in the afternoon on Sunday here in South Korea.
On Sunday, so it's tomorrow. So the game with the basketball game's been over for a day already over there.
Yeah, the Bucks won. I mean, it is what it is. Just
right on. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. It's good to have you. I know you are now working at PWCC, but you're not here. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But from my perspective, you're not here representing PWCC as much as you might be able to just let us know from your perspective in South Korea. The question I wanted to ask you was, have you been watching these auctions tonight? All the lots.
Oh yeah. I keep scrolling through. So on my page, there's 3 pages, and I keep flipping back and forth. I kind of check from the highest to the lowest, what's hitting both ends of the spectrum. But first, hey Adam, I just want to say it's a pleasure being on here with you. I'm a big fan, definitely a big fan of all that you put out. Thank you. But yeah, as I've been watching them, my big shock here. There's 2 shocks. I have 2 that I'd like to comment on. The Jordan, that goes without saying, 720. Granted, if you're going to roll the dice and go all in on a PSA 10 Jordan, you want one that's dead on center, right? And I think people feel like they're 3 to 5 years from now, they're all going to be $500,000 and up. So if you're going to roll the dice and get a good one, you want a top-notch card. That one, but the big surprise for me that I'm seeing right now is the Wilt. I think the Wilt, that's it. I don't know. That's the kind of shocker here for me.
A little low?
Yeah.
What's your take, Adam? You got any comment on the Wilt?
Well, yeah, I mean, I like your commentary here, Erik. The Wilt was one that we came in at the beginning sort of thinking that had a very good chance to be like the 2nd or 3rd highest card in the lot. And like Erik, I kind of do the same thing. I'm looking at what's the highest and what's the lowest. I think, Jeremy, you said that the card ladder data showed us that a Wilt sold once upon a time for, a few months ago for $440 or something like that. And this Wilt looks about as nice as a 9 can be, $460. Yeah. And so yeah, it's definitely, I agree with Erik. It's surprising to see how low it is for sure.
Well, you look at top 15%, overall centering, and the color registry is really good on it. So I figure I believe it's a Pop 32 card. If my memory serves me right, let's assume it's probably one of the 7 nicest. I think from my perspective, the chances of another one coming up this nice, it could be a while. So I think it's a great looking card. Again, the registry is beautiful. The centering is paramount on those cards. It's second to none. So I think not only that, so a little backdrop on that. So the 61 set, I believe, only has 66 cards in the whole set. So there's a lot of set builders out there. And as time progresses, there's going to be a lot of deep-pocketed set builders because it has Jerry West, it's got Oscar, it's got the Big O in it, right? So you have some key players, and means how the set only has 66 cards in the whole set. It's something that can be achieved, right? So the 61 set is, and especially this card, I think it's something that's going to be probably one of the most coveted sets in all of basketball here soon, if it's not already there.
So the registration on it, it's really good, but it's not perfect. I can see a couple of, little offsets up here by his ears. And of course, where you can often see it is here in the armpit. You typically do see some right there. And that little white line there can be narrower or wider, depending on how the registration was. You've got a bit of a printing flaw right here. So it's very nice. The centering is absolutely spectacular. And, the background, the color in the background, stunningly solid. There's no lightning there at all. Really nice. No real print flaws in here. No fish eyes anywhere that I can see, that I'm seeing. So a great copy, definitely worthy, in my opinion, of the eye appeal rating. So that is somewhat surprising that the card is sitting at 220 plus 44, so 264, when the last few that have sold did over 400. So definitely a surprise. How do you think the auction, aside from this card, Erik, and anything else, any other cards that, how do you feel about the LeBron here at 900 with including buyer's premium?
Well, the LeBron, before the auction started, I felt it was, on the very low end of the spectrum, 780. I felt maybe it would probably top out between 880 and 930. So it's within my range of normality, right? It's a 3-color. It's an above average 3-color. The presentation and autograph is centered, presents itself well. You're not getting a 7.5. You're getting a good quality as a mint plus. So overall, I think its sale value in regards to where it's at now is what I projected it is pretty much spot on, right? If I had to pick another anomaly, it would be the limited logos at 600,000. I think the limited logo Jordan, granted, the patch is beautiful. That just is what it is. If you're a Jordan fan, I think that one at 600 was a big shock in regards to the upper end of the spectrum. Things that I looked at it as maybe 360, 390. I thought if it hit 410, but
look at this, Erik. I think we just triggered a bit on the Wilt. It's gone from 220 to 240 since you started talking.
I'm not trying to pump. I'm just giving my honest assessment of the card.
Hey, it's okay. We're all agreeing, but it's fine. The fact of the matter is, you look at what the recent comps have been. This card compared to the last 2 sales, and this one does have a special eye appeal rating. I mean, that is, that's good value at that price. And I actually don't believe that anything we're saying is going to impact anybody out there. But in the event it does, I kind of think it's cool. So
that one is my favorite one. So I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier. He asked me what I thought about the best Jordans, autographed Jordans. I like the numbered pieces. I'm a fan of the vertical auto with the vertical card. It's different. It catches. I like the 23 where the jersey is. That one is one I like. I think it's probably about what I assessed it at. Now, if it was a 9 or 9.5, of course, it'd be astronomically higher. But I think that one's about right. But I do think these exquisite 2003 exquisite Jordan cards, they're just going to dry up. We're just fortunate enough that they're here right now at this point in time to see so many in one auction house. But I think they're gonna
dry up, but they're gonna dry up into a lot of the fractional companies. I mean, you've got the big 4 fractionals that are all still in business. They need cards. They need to constantly have their offerings. So it makes sense for them to buy these cards, have the public comps available for the SEC and their investors to see. It's very transparent. So I like it. So Dwayne Wade's picking up bids.
Yeah. What are y'all's thoughts on the Tiger?
What about the Tiger?
What's your thoughts on the Woods?
I mean,
10-10. I know he's got some injuries, right? He's probably not going to come back. But just overall, from where that card was at, being as how it's a 10-10.
What can you provide some context for us on where it was, and also what page it's on in here?
That's on second page. It's a 42 grand.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
pre-BP is 42. I think so. You're looking at about 50 out the door. And at one point, I believe those 10-10s were hovering around 96,000, 96 to 100K. I don't know, Adam, do you follow that card historically? Is that something you normally track or no?
I don't.
Are you talking about the SGC 1010?
No, the SP Authentic numbered to 900, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. There's 2 of them there, but there must be
there's an SGC, but then there's the PSA 1010.
Must be on page 3.
Let's go take
Erik. Sanderson to Orr, whose name is also Erik, wants to me to tell you that him and Kevin say hey.
I love Erik. He's hilarious, man. He's a trip. He's a trip.
You see him on Clubhouse, right?
Yes, he's hilarious. I love him. He's so brutally honest. You can't help but love somebody like that. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, Adam?
Let me just jump in real quick and just say, like, on a group that I'm on Instagram, I'll leave his name out because he certainly, didn't give me permission to mention it via this format. But he says this 2-minute format is berserk. Every auction house should move to this format. And I think now that the game is over, people aren't focusing on the game as much anymore. Everybody's watching this right now. I don't know how many people are watching us right now, but I think everybody who's in our world is watching this event, kind of unfold, and it's just a blast. I think I'm glad that PWCC kind of decided to do this format, because for all of us that, guys like me who pretend that we're sort of in this world, like it's fun to see. It's really fun to see all this stuff happening at the same time.
Yeah, of course we want, a decent amount of cards in it. But at the same time, on the opposite of that, Adam, it's kind of nice when you see 60, 70, 80, 90 cards in an auction. It's easier to digest. It's easier for you to be able to process it all and track each lot,
Erik, why don't you tell the audience what do you, quickly though, what do you do at PWCC? What is your job there?
I'm an account liaison. I help customers just go through their portfolios. If they have any questions with ingesting into the vault, into flash auctions, they're 1, 3, 5, and 7-day auctions, or just moving to monthly auctions, and just try to assess what's best for them and make that process as smooth as possible. And a lot of people aren't aware that some people nowadays have their personal collection might be worth $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, and they don't want to sell it. Totally understandable. A lot of people aren't also aware that you can take a loan out. So we do vault loans too. You put stuff in the vaults up to 40%, to where they can then get some liquid capital, go to the national, or whatever they want to do, and then buy new items.
So you're basically a consultant for clientele. Yeah. Okay, cool. Just wanted to know that. Oh, here we go. So here we go. Here's the 10 Gem Mint 10 without the auto graded. So it's not exactly a 10-10, but I mean, if the autograph is nice. You saw this card top out at 105 in April, and the last one just earlier this month did 27,000, a big drop from 53 and all that. So it looks like this price is kind of right in line. I don't know that the auto grade really gives the card that much of a premium, unless many of the other PSA 10 copies have weak autographs. Yeah. So. But
that's kind of the thing. It historically has almost, I'd say, about 50 to 65% more of a premium. It's an astronomical premium with the 1010, just because the pop report drops so much with the 1010.
Dan Silvershine says, "How's it hanging, Erik?" There you go. Mastrodama says that the Dwayne Wade is so undervalued in general. COVID wants to know any finals bids yet. Did Jordan break 800? Well, there are no final. Once the auction is over, it's over all at once. So there's been no bid for the last 55 seconds. That would have been on the Nike promo. Michael Jordan, it's at 22,000. Jim Brown's at 80 grand for I think it's a PSA 8. Wow. And the 87 stickers at $30,000. Kevin Jones says we've got the live commentary on Clubhouse. Very cool. Luigi says, skeptic in me thinks that maybe some power brokers are pumping the Fleer 86 ahead of the National. Fleer 86 at 700 doesn't make sense. Well, it does have special eye appeal, but of course the skeptics will be out. And I mean, it's possible. I mean, hey, it's possible. But if they pay the bill, they pay the bill. Now, what's really going to be interesting is how many of those cards that recently sold for $250 are going to be put back on the block, and will people put a lot of credence into this $700,000 comp today, and thereby let the people who bought the card for $220, $240, $260 in the last 6 weeks make a couple $100,000 on their cards or not? Time will tell. COVID says I can't call anybody COVID. Can you change your name, please? COVID card collector says, I have my popcorn out. Loving the comments. This is like watching ESPN Ocho. I love it. Glad to have you, COVID. Card collector. Colin is curious to know how that Wilt is not a 10. COVID card collector says, Eric, do you have any promo codes? I heard there was a promo through August for new PWCC accounts. Eric, do you have a promo code tonight?
Invest, all caps, INVEST. It's good till, I'm going to say, the end of August. So that's free insurance and free ingestion.
There you go. Game Time Gallery agrees with Luigi on the 86 Jordan. Many folks are hoping for momentum going into the National. This card is doing it. Interesting. I mean, interesting. If somebody is trying to adjust the market with one card, if the market responds, I mean, that's on the market. I don't know. That's to me. That's we're all big boys and girls. Jose says the equity powerhouse is stashing these 86 MJs will absolutely take a loss paying this premium to bump this one up to cash in on the rest of their market. Lots of theories happening already, guys. Lots of theories. Lots of theories have been developed in the last 10 minutes already. But hey, that's what we like to do. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. But when you're a buyer, when you're a deep pocket buyer, somebody worth $10 or $100 million, as you learn and go through maturation process in this hobby, you'll pay a premium for a well-centered PSA 10. If you're buying one of the 10 or 20 nicest PSA 10s out there, and you've got the pockets, that's what you're going after. So if it was way off center, I could understand that. But being a spot on top tier specimen, and it doesn't matter what auction house it's on, us, Heritage Golden, whoever. If it's a top tier specimen and it definitely passes the eye appeal, you'll see people fight for it. It's like that in almost any type of card. Topps Chrome Refractor, Kobe, rookie. Well, remember also that the last time we saw these cards sell for so much money, there was a lot of the same sort of speculation, and they ended up being, just kind of really wealthy people who wanted to copy the card because they were in on the hype of the hobby, the hype of the MJ. I mean, if you're gonna get sucked in on any hype, it's probably going to be Michael Jordan's like the last way you can kind of blame yourself, because it's Michael Jordan, right? It's not Bol, right? It's not even like Giannis tonight. Like tonight, Giannis cards are going to go up in value. But if he doesn't win another finals next year, what's going to happen? Will they sustain? Time will tell. But this might just be another real wealthy person who wants what is going to be one of the nicest Michael Jordan PSA 10s out there. Who knows? Or someone's playing some games and they buy this card for over $700,000. But maybe we'll find out. Maybe they will come out and let us know who they are. Yeah, in our auction archives, I believe that all the paid for items are released in the PWCC auction archives. But I need to double check that. So we'll know. I mean, the industry will know, right, if it's paid for or not.
You'll let us know.
D-Wade? What are your thoughts on the D-Wade? I love D-Wade. I think he's undervalued. I don't own any D-Wade cards, by the way.
65,000 on a BGS 9. I mean, it's lower than it's lower than Luka, it's lower than Giannis, it's lower than Zion.
He's got 3 rings.
3 rings. Yeah, but it's like baked in rings are worth more than rings that are already in the bank. Guys, we have 17 seconds left in the auction right now, 15 seconds. Now, if there is no bid in the next 10 seconds,
there's a bid.
Auction,
what was it? Let's find out what it was.
There's
both
bids.
The Jordans were bidded on.
There's bids. We're now at 550. So that is, holy moly. 550 on the MJ logos, 160 on the numbers, and you have a really nice picture of MJ on the numbers card. I'm going to go through some more quick comments here, guys. Eric, we'll get some final comments from you, and thank you for joining us. It's nice to have you come in, but hang out for another minute here. Toa Hang in the house. Good evening, Toa. Great to have you. Imagine having the money to bid on some of these. No doubt, right? No doubt at all. Junk Wax says the gold label Nike Jordan is beautiful. I would take that over the 86 Fleer. Dan Silvershine says, where do we see the Gretzky finishing Jeremy? Yeah, great question. I mean, if that card doesn't hit 150, I'm going to be a little bit bummed. I think that card, well, it depends. I'd have to put it up right beside some of the other ones. If it doesn't hit 125, I think I'll be a little bit bummed. Daniel A says ESPN is doing a Last Dance version of Derek Jeter next year, 6 episodes called The Captain. Hey, there we go. Fair warning, everybody. Fair warning on your Derek Jeter cards. Card porn in the house says Eric is the Jordan rookie card in BGS 10 condition. One of those is a $750,000 card easily. So I think Card Porn is asking if the PSA 10 that's going for sale tonight, would it qualify as a BGS 10 as well?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a grader, so I don't want to speculate on that. I mean, I will say this PSA 10 is really nice. So I don't want to speculate on what would cross which way or the other. But this is a really nice specimen. Traditionally, I kind of prefer to get a BGS 9.5 like True Gem Plus with 10 centering, or BGS 10 or whatnot, just because the PSA 10 centering range can vary. But this is a nice one. I mean, and whoever's bidding on it, I can't see from my end who's bidding on it. Whoever's bidding on it's getting a nice specimen.
Look at the emblems is now at 260, Adam. Matt Jones says this will never end. Very deep pockets bidding tonight on the Jordans.
What about that Jim Brown at 80? That's
Mosaic. All Jordans are way up tonight. Yes. Daniel A says, can you zoom in on the Gretzky? It's flawed. I mean, yes, I can zoom in on the Gretzky. Let's have a look and see the Gretzky card.
I just read that the Jordan Limited logos is the only Jordan Limited logos graded by PSA.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
So pop one for all intents and purposes. So the Gretzky is at $85,000. So just over 100 with buyer's premium. This is a PSA 9 old label card. Let's zoom in and have a look at this card and see why might it not be selling, or at least coming in at. So yeah, there's something going on here. I think we're at full focus here. Yeah, there we go. Now we're focused. So yeah, I mean, this here, this is a major flaw for me. This, to me, I'm gonna regrade this card right now based on what I would give it. So oftentimes for Gretzky rookies, anyone out there, if you're not aware, you always want to look at this little orange oil drop and see how well centered it is within the pocket. This is actually, believe it or not, you can see it's not perfectly centered. It's a little bit low, but it's actually pretty good for the card. Another thing I often look for is I look at this white gap right here between the blue and the black border, and you can see there's a white gap there. So again, that's a registration issue. You see it also over here. You see the white gap right here. It comes all the way up the edge. I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. A little bit of white between the blue. So there's a registration issue. You can see right here in the white. This should be white, not this peach sort of color, not this orange color. But this here is ugly. To me, this is ugly. I don't like that at all.
I wonder if that's on the card or the holder.
I feel like I've seen this card before, Eric, and I think I've seen this card, and it's because I've seen this flaw before, so I don't know if it's the same copy or not. Right here, you've got a little bit of black extra ink on that dot there, which is supposed to be white, but as you can definitely see, there's some extra ink there. I mean, that is definitely not on the holder. That is definitely a printing flaw right there, and a pretty bad one. So this card is overgraded. I mean, I'm just going to call it as I see it. Now, I want to just call out to everybody, and not call it, but I want to point out this rough edge. It is
Watch the time remaining.
7 seconds if there's no more bids.
2, 1.
Oh, there's been a bid. Hold on. Let's just have a look. Let's just have a look here. Yeah, there's a bid. Auction is still on.
We're close though. We're close.
Back to here, guys. I want to see this rough edge. This is considered acceptable as far as the O-Pee-Chee Gretzky goes. A lot of people don't really like it or understand it or believe it, but this does not penalize the card, even though you would think it does. It just, for whatever reason, does not hurt the grade of the card, nor does it along the bottom. So this is actually a very nice copy as far as the edges goes. My personal collector's opinion, but you've got registration issues here. This orange and yellow is all a registration issue. You've got more printed, little bit of the black is not completely solid. So yeah, as Daniel pointed out, this card, it's not like, if you just zoom out, the centering is pretty much perfect, which is going to help it. But this guy here, this guy right here, to me, is qualifier worthy. This is like almost like a stain. It's a print defect. It's a PD or an ST. To me, this is a PSA 7. I would not pay more than so. Overgraded. And that's why it's at 85 instead of like 200. And, otherwise this card should be at about 180 or higher plus buyer's premium. Adam, what do you got to say?
So this is unrelated to what you're saying, Jeremy, but I wondered while we have Erik here, I've got a couple questions, or not a couple questions, but this is a sensitive topic. And you might not have information on this, Erik, or information that you're able to share, but one thing that we always wonder about when we have big auctions like this is, do items get paid for? And then when items don't get paid for, what's the process? Because no matter what you guys do, it's impossible to ensure that every item is paid for. And then if it's not, what happens with the card? What happens to the record of the sale? Can you speak to any of that sort of stuff for us, Erik?
Yeah. So with PWCC, we have an auction archive that's listed. I'm not sure on auctions like this. Normally on eBay, everything that gets paid for goes in our auction archive, which can be accessed by anybody. You can just go to the PWCC website or on eBay and look through the auction archives. So only the things that were paid for, that were actually bought and paid for, are listed in the archive. If something sells on eBay and you don't see it, like where did it go? It wasn't paid for. I will get confirmation, and I'll give it to you and Jeremy. Y'all can publicize it. Because this is off eBay, right? About auctions here. I can confirm that last in the May, I think it was, the last auction, I believe, the May auction, we had one item go unpaid for. I don't have the numbers for last month, but that was great. Our first auction, I know we had one out of, I think, 132 that didn't get paid for. So I don't know the number for last month, but traditionally what happens if something goes unpaid for, we will give the seller an opportunity to relist it if they want to, but at that point it's kind of up to the seller's discretion on what they want to do. But we make extensive efforts to try to get the buyer to pay for it. We'll take cards 2 for 1. We want the sales to be trackable, but I will make sure I will get confirmation on exactly whether or not those that are actually sold go for, and I will try also to advocate that maybe us as a company at least put forth some type of list that ones that didn't maybe get paid for to a certain effect, so that way it's transparent to the public, because that's the most important thing, right? It's public transparency.
It is. The only thing I would add though is I'm totally understanding of how difficult it is for you guys, because you want your, the people who are consigning cards with you to feel comfortable with it, and you don't want to blacklist one of their cards if it doesn't sell, to go, oh, look at this card, it didn't sell, and then that hurts that person. It's not their fault necessarily that the card didn't get paid for. So it is difficult, but the reason that I'm asking that right now is because I'm looking at a couple cards in particular right now that really will set new comps to the whole market. And it's not just PWCC, it's everybody out there who's auctioning cards will auction a card that sells for this new comp. And we as collectors want to look at it and go, okay, this thing actually happened, and we want to feel good about it. So, and I don't want to hurt the person whose card it is if it doesn't get sold, but it would be really nice to know with a couple of these cards if they end up getting paid for them.
Are you asking about the Premier Auction or just on our eBay platform in general?
Specifically to tonight, the Premier Auction.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know. I don't have that exact answer. I should have come more prepared for that one, but I will definitely let you know exactly. And then you can share it, whether on your Instagram or Jeremy. I'll definitely let you know how we will divulge what did or didn't get paid for. But our percentage of paid for items is really high. I want to say right now we're probably shooting 96, 99%, 98% about of our items getting paid for, which is because we vet these people. We want, in order to get approved, you have to have an X amount of dollars in our vault under your name, or we need bank statements. We need you to prove your liquid assets in some form or fashion. It may be a stock portfolio, something to that effect, prove your collection. We vet these people pretty high. So.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Good conversation. Thank you. I want to let everybody know, and Peter Pacman is joining me still this evening for the late show. We are going to do that. Peter, I think you're there. I think I saw a comment from you. I do want to keep going here, though, Pete. We got great audience, and this auction is going to end soon, I do believe. So stick with us. I just reset the time for our start to half an hour later, so 9:30 p.m. Pacific. Peter. Okay, I'm going to go to some comments here while we watch the clock tick down. We're 5 seconds. There's going to be a bid. I feel like there's going to be a bid. Let's see. Maybe not. There's a bid. There we go. The exquisite Michael Jordan. It's 95,000. Erik, I'm going to invite you to stick around for a few more minutes, man. But feel free if you have to go, no problem. We're going to go to some comments, and then we'll be back to everything else. So Dan Silvershine says, right above the Oilers is another flaw in the white. Yeah, I pointed that one out. Thank you, Daniel. You're welcome. Daniel A., you're welcome. Toa says, Jeremy, props on the PSA 4 Gretzky. You donated to Slab Stocks for their charity auction. I actually donated a PSA 3 Gretzky rookie to the Slab Stocks charity. Guys, check that out. I think it's amazing what they're doing. They've already raised over $100,000 worth of prizes and donations, and they are all going to be used to send kids to Camp Kesem, which sends kids to camp who come from families that have had cancer in the family, and they, they've brought in a whole bunch of great things, and I wanted to be a part of that. It feels really good to be able to know that I'm going to directly send like 3 kids to camp this summer. It's just a wonderful feeling. So happy to do that. Joe, Dr. Lee on the Gretzky. Sanderson does not like the Gretzky and the PSA 9 holder. Card Porn says, Jeremy dropping knowledge on the Gretzky. Jordan, how did it get a 9? Well, one thing I want to say about that Gretzky, final thing I'm going to say, guys, is that when you zoom out, it's actually a very nice card. Centering, edges, and corners are all very nice. Registration is within the scope of a PSA 9. It's that flaw. And actually, Rip Pack and Slab says here that the card has a story. It's been through some things. I don't know what it's been through, but if it somehow got damaged in the slab, or I don't know how that would happen, but I don't know exactly. If it's not for that one flaw, it's a PSA 9, I would say. Even with the extra black ink on the dot, it was also graded a very long time ago. And if anyone out there believes that standards have sort of changed over time, maybe that explains it a little bit as well. But keeping on going, Mike Wick says, I agree about the edges. That would make harder to counterfeit, I would imagine as well, which I believe is true. But then I noticed Card Porn says, Jeremy, any idea why graders are more lenient on O-Pee-Chee edges, but not on cards with similar production issues like PMGs? And I do have an idea, Card Porn, but I don't know if it's the right answer, but I'm going to theorize and say that I believe because in 1979, when they made the O-Pee-Chee hockey cards, the tools they used were not as technically advanced as they were in 1997 when they made the PMGs, and they used these blades that got dull over time, and that's why they. What's that?
They cut them with a wire back then. I believe they're wire cut cards.
That's a theory, but we've seen video that disproves that it was actually blades like this, where you'd bring them down over a sheet and it would cut the whole sheet. So that said, I think that's why. Now I'm not saying it's a valid reason. I'm just saying that's why they did it, and they haven't stopped doing that way. And the collectors, for the reason that I highlighted earlier, people like it. It's more authentic to the time, and it's what they're used to. So that's the only reason that I can think of.
Jeremy, while you two guys are nerding out about this Gretzky card, Jordan card is like destroyed its all-time record. Completely destroyed it.
840,000. A new record has been set tonight, live on Sports Cards Live, everybody.
It's almost as high as the LeBron Exquisite is, and that is, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just crazy. That's insane to me. It's insane to me that it's almost as high. What do I know? I don't know anything. This isn't my world.
And notice, guys, that all night the PMG Red Michael Jordan hasn't moved off of 260.
Well, I mean, but it's at what, 310 out the door. That's a good price, I think.
I think so too. I think.
I mean, what are your thoughts, Adam?
I'm not sure. This is all still definitely a new world to me. Yeah, I mean, if the question is, would I rather have the PMG at what it's at or the rookie at what it's at, it's obviously not a question to me. I would take the PMG 100 times out of 100.
What do you think versus the PMG versus the 03 Exquisite EOE in those endorsements? Because they're both at 260.
That's super comparable to me. So which would I rather have? A number pieces Jordan or a PMG Jordan. Don't make me choose on those because I'll make some group really mad if I
The emblems of endorsements. Emblems of endorsements is 260. Number to 15.
So I would choose the PMG over the emblems of endorsements, but I would also choose the number pieces over that. And there goes the limited logos again. Limited logos again at $650.
Adam, what did you not want to have to choose between? And then I want you to choose.
The number pieces and the PMG. Because the number pieces is my favorite exquisite Jordan, and the PMG I take the number pieces. I love that.
Good man. Yeah, I agree, Adam. I completely agree.
People will hate me that I said that. They will hate.
But who cares? No, let them hate you, man. I mean, it comes down to what you like for your collection for whatever reason you have. So it's all fair. But the other thing is that the number pieces is much rarer than the PM. Are we talking PMG green or red? The red one, right?
Red. Yeah, I mean the green is way better than all those things.
So there's 90. There's 90 reds and there's 23 numbers. So you're getting rarer, you're getting auto, and you're getting patch. But
the reason that it's a hard decision is that the red is like one of the top 7 or 8 most iconic cards ever made. And as far as Jordan goes, like it's the Jordan parallel. I mean, that is a great card. I'm not speaking down to that card at all. I would love to have that card. I mean, maybe the best card in my collection is a PMG Championship of Jordan, right? So yeah, I'm very much in on this card, but the number pieces to me is the exquisite insert set, and that's why I just sit here and I look right now at this limited logos at 650. And what's the number pieces at? Like 160? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
So for me, for 2003 exquisite, my favorite card produced in 2000, even over the LeBron RPA, I would take a LeBron numbered pieces over LeBron RPA. So I think Bob Morris has the 23 of 23 LeBron numbered pieces, and it's a BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto. In my mind, and just me, I'm just one individual, right? In my mind, that's probably, and if it was me and I had unlimited money, that would be the most expensive, exquisite LeBron card. I would take that over Parallel 23.
Is that game used too on the LeBron?
There's the important piece, right? So the RPA is event worn. They're not game used. The numbered pieces is game used. It's numbered to 23. You know, I mean, it's game. And so here's another little bit of knowledge, right? So think about this. That's a game worn jersey from LeBron James's rookie year. What do you think that would go for? Forget the card. If you had an event-worn jersey from LeBron James' rookie year versus a game-used jersey from LeBron James' rookie year to go for millions right now. And there's pieces of that in exquisite cards. That's why I'm big on the numbered pieces, emblems, endorsements, limited logos, even the number to 100. Those are all game-used from a rookie jersey that LeBron wore in a game.
And talking about the numbered out of 101, that one I haven't seen it hasn't been bid on in a while, I don't believe, and I think it was at 60,000. So, you know, maybe that's the steal of the auction right now.
It's 120 now.
So never mind. Oh, it is 120.
Emblems. Look at emblems, 300.
What 120 on the LeBron?
No, on 120 on the Jordan numbered.
Yeah, I'm talking about the LeBron.
Oh, the LeBron. Okay, yeah.
There's a lot of talk in the chat thinking that something's not right on the Jordan PSA 10. But I wonder how much the PWCC eye appeal rating, is influencing the bidders on this card tonight.
It's a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. Even before I started working, so I've been here about half a year. It always has added value. It's the same thing with Mike Baker. Mike Baker has the silver, the gold, the black. There's a huge multiple. I mean, Mike Baker put a black diamond on a 53 Topps Mantle. If it didn't add some type of value, he wouldn't put it on a $25 million card. So it's the same concept, right? NBA, our eye appeal, top 5% is basically the equivalent of a Baker black diamond. They're both equal. They do add big value money to it. And if you look at the card, I mean, you can look at it. The edges look beautiful. Surface has almost no blemishes that I can see. Centering spot on. And that's kind of it. If you got to buy one, it's just kind of what people fight after. I'm the same way when I go after big cards. If I want one, I'm going all in on that one.
We're all quick to worry about about bidding not being real or about things not getting paid for. But at the same time, what that sometimes does is it prevents us from really like enjoying record sales, right? The Jordan limited logos is doing things that is insane. And we don't know, again, we don't know that it's real yet. We'll have to see if it actually gets paid for, that type of thing. But like the fact that 90-something% of these things are being, high 90s, are being sold for, that means something, right? And so for us to question whether it's real while it's happening probably like is probably not the right thing for us to do. It's probably the right thing for us to look at afterwards, and then to actually mention it when we learn those things, while being as kind as we can to the owner of the card. But yeah, like look, all of these Jordan exquisites are blowing up right in front of our eyes, right? All of them are. The one that's most surprising is the limited logos for sure, but that doesn't mean that it's not.
And again, we do an extensive vetting process, PWCC. I mean, it's extensive. There was discussions of whether or not we were doing too much vetting, but it's for that purpose, right? It's for that purpose. So that way, when people bid, they know that they're bidding against other true buyers. And it adds just a sense of security to the seller and to the buyer. And we feel like it was our due diligence to do that as a company, is to add that extra. There's a lot of vetting that goes on. So
sorry, Erik, I want to take a second, guys. We have great viewership tonight, so thanks everybody for joining. I hope you've been enjoying this. I think you have been, because the viewership's been strong all night. So thank you for that. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Sports Cards Live. Please take a second, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, building the channel, coming back with great episodes. Check out the upcoming episodes, guys. Next week, Dr. Beckett will be in to do a preview on the National with me. And then later on that same night, Filmington's going to join. Filmington, who you probably all know from YouTube, he'll be joining. We're going to be talking about the National as well. Lots of National talk, but that's what we want to be talking about right now, because it's a lot of fun. The National. Oh, 1 second. Is there a bid? Is there a bid? Updating.
We might be done. I think we're there.
Is the auction over? It might be done. We haven't seen this before, have we?
No, this is new.
Guys, subscribe to the channel while we're waiting to see if it's done. It's done. It's done.
Let's go
the
look.
Auction. Is it done? Ended. Auction ended. Auction ended with Michael Jordan's killing it.
Look at the last 5 bids, Jeremy. Look at the last 5 bids. The Jordan rookie, the limited logos, the auto patch, the emblems of endorsement, and the number pieces. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Real cards. Banger cards. Real
banger cards.
Those
unbelievable. And now if that, I really feel like it's the fractionals that wrapped up all 5 of those cards. Now, if a fractional comes out and IPOs that Michael Jordan right there, then all this commentary that's no doubt happening and going to happen throughout the day tomorrow is all false. It's all false. It's all speculation, and it's all paranoia. Now, the paranoia may or may not be warranted. I think it's fair to have some caution on this. But if a fractional comes out and says that they bought this basket of cards for their investors, then it's legit. There's nothing. There's nothing. No funny business going on at all. So time will tell. Time will tell. And even if not, it still could be the case. If it is, then we may never know. But it'll be anyway. I want to thank everybody for joining. It's been a lot of fun. Again, hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. Lots of great episodes coming. I'll be back on in about 10 minutes with Peter Pac-Man. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a fun episode. Peter's an awesome guy. I've got a few things loaded and ready to go for when he's on. So we're going to have some fun. You're going to enjoy that. Be sure to come back again. Dr. Beckett next Saturday, followed by Filmington. And then after the National, to debrief the National with me will be none other than Brian Gray, who has already said he will be walking the floor with a basket full, maybe a suitcase full of cash, looking to buy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Adam and Erik, thank you for joining. Before we go, if you guys can hang on, I want to run through the final comments, say goodbye, and thank you to everybody, and then we're going to wrap this thing up, all right? So, is that good? You guys cool? All right, awesome. And Erik, I kept you longer than you were planning to stay, but thank you for sticking around. Really do appreciate that. So, couple comments I'm going to run through here. Mike says there are obviously people willing there are obviously multiple people bidding, so that speaks volumes, and we will see how the ones sell in the future, but apparently they will be trending up a great deal after this. Very well could be the case. We have Beavis Card says, does Dr. Beckett only have BGS slabs? I don't know for sure, but I know he definitely has BGS slabs. Joe says, wow, it's all over. Just like that, the auction ended. Pretty crazy. All Jordans on the end, no doubt about it. Colin says, Erik, you are awesome. Thanks for joining the show. Thank you, One for the Task, for joining. Frankie, always a pleasure, guys. Frankie was my guest last week on The Late Show. Check him out. He's got a card shop in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Probably the best shop going on in that country. Mike Petty laughs. COVID card collector. That was what a Jordan finale, no doubt about it. Thank you, Mike Petty, for joining. That's cool. Says Jordan boomed the hobby and just revived it tonight. Hey, could be. Thanks, Erik. Thanks for joining us tonight. Definitely happy to have you. Thank you, Mike Wick. Everybody else. Game Time says the content creators will be busy with this 86 Jordan card. No doubt. You know what? The content creators, myself included, although I'm not a guy who does, daily updates, but the ones that do, they're used to having something to report on every single day. So this is kind of like, it's a necessary thing. They need it. We need it. And hey, there's a lot of great content creators out there. So definitely check them out. Thank you, Adventures with Troy. Thank you, Jeff Hart. Thanks, Mike Wick. Appreciate all you guys coming. Mike says, just watch the podcast again today from last week. Frank, you really enjoyed it. Listen to it. Yeah, awesome, Mike. Thanks for doing that. All right, guys. Adam, Erik, final comments. Final comments from you first, Erik, and then we'll do you, Adam.
Just overall impressed. Absolutely impressed. Even things, the Jim Brown rookie, that was amazing. There's just overall just impressed with the whole auction in general. I'm very grateful again to be on here and to share a screen with Adam, of course, and as well you, Jeremy.
Thanks for joining, Erik. Great to have you. I do these PWCC auctions because they're full of action. They're so much fun, and it's just so enjoyable. So it's really cool to have you. Even though I've known you from before you started working at PWCC, I just, the fact that you're there, I think it just adds a little bit of, je ne sais quoi to the show, to have you on to speak to some of the questions, especially the ones that Adam asked, really poignant questions. So thanks for joining. Adam, final comments from you. Everybody else, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you on with Peter Pacman in about 10 minutes.
Jeremy, you're crushing it. I think this show is a lot of fun. I think watching PWCC do these 66 items all at the same time is a real event, and to be part of it and to have the few hundred people who joined us here today live, and then the people who are going to come later and watch it over again. It's awesome to be able to dissect it all. And honestly, what's funny is we've been on here for how long? For 3 hours, Jeremy, and it just flew by, man. And we could go for another 3 hours. We really could, but it's been a blast. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks to both of you gentlemen. Hang tight right there. Everybody else, thank you one last time. I see all the final comments coming. I really appreciate you guys. Be back on with Peter Pacman in about 10 minutes. And if we don't see you next weekend, again, Dr. Beckett in Filmington. And then if not, I'll be at booth 866 at the National. That booth is for Iconic Auctions. I will be at their booth with a bit of a streaming station right beside Leaf. Come check it out. Come see me. Say hello. Look forward to that. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks again.